I think since you introduced it as a segment last time, we should continue using it as a segment this time. So, hey, Zach, how was your month?
My month was good. I am sort of doing the same thing as I always do, working, fucking just hanging out. But my next month is going to be very difficult. It's going to be a harrowing one because I don't have the soft, warm, gentle embrace of a new Jojolion chapter on the 18th waiting for me. So it's gonna have to be a real gauntlet. I'm gonna have to live a lot of life in between now and the next chapter.
It's true, but you do have assuming you're in a similar climate, or actually you'll be moving to a similar climate, because you mentioned that to me.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll have the hard, hot embrace, not so gentle though, of the California heat wave that I've been dealing with.
Yeah.
Um, I actually, okay, so this is ghetto as shit. I actually brought down a fan, and like I moved around a bunch of stuff on the bookcase next to me so that I could put the fan like level with my face,
Nice.
and run the cord around to the power strip on the desk. But I can't use the fan during the podcast because this is what happens. You hear that? You hear what that sounds
Oh
like?
yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like someone is like.
Okay. So
It sounds like someone is like shaking a piece of cloth right next to your microphone, just like.
sounds like I live in a wind tunnel. Anyway,
Yeah.
but that's how I've been dealing with the heat wave because the power companies in California are just nuts. They have had years to improve the infrastructure, and
And
allow
yet.
for like less blackouts. And yet
And
here
yet.
we are in 2020, and they're killing people's powers in the middle of the day during the hottest part of the year, to conserve power.
Jesus. I remember that happening when I lived there. There was like
Yeah,
rolling blackouts. They would like purposefully black
yeah,
you out
yeah.
to
That's
save energy.
they're actually they're actually like they're actually like doing it this year too.
Goddamn.
That's crazy. 2020 strikes again. Um,
2020 hasn't stopped striking. If 2020 was like a karate champion, like if he was your match opponent in like martial arts, 2020 came out swinging and has not stopped. Hasn't gotten
20
tired.
Okay, so 2020 hasn't stopped striking because 2020 has been one continuous strike that we're all feeling in slow motion. 2020 is gold experience just punched us all in the face, and we're
And
still feeling that one face
we're
punch.
still feeling like our teeth knocking into each other. Like we're still feeling our fucking like nose shattering. He hasn't even released us from the punch yet.
Yeah.
That's a good
Okay, so
analogy.
on a more positive note, actually a
Mm-hmm.
couple of more positive notes. I've been working on a creative writing project, and I believe you may have seen me mention this
Yeah, you
in
posted
the
a
West
link.
Discord.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on an SCP inspired creative writing project called the Department of Anomalies.
Hmm.
Um, and basically, SCP inspired creative writing project probably tells you everything you would need to know about it, to get a
Somewhat,
feel for what
yes.
it's like. Um, I'll post a link to that in the description of this video so people can check that out, if they want to. If SCP is something that interests you, or like clinical tone, or um, horror, or just weird stuff, that's what that is supposed to be. So I'll just post that link in the description of this video.
So if that sounds like your thing, check that the hell out. It's right up your alley. Check out Chris's project. What is
The other good thing this month that you and I both participated in is we did the equipment test recording for Batman Arkham Knight,
true.
the upcoming the upcoming LP that hopefully we'll be able to record, even though I'm going to be going back into classes and I'll have less time during the week to do
True.
that.
But you know what? Maybe then it'll be
Um,
more like, because do you remember this week? You said, "Hey, when are we recording the podcast?" And I looked at my calendar and I was like, "Well, it's got to be Friday morning, or else it won't happen." You know. And then we did it. So because our time was more limited, we only really had one shot. I was more motivated to wake up and make that
that's
shot.
true. That's true. You're listening to the podcast that almost didn't happen.
Yeah. Hey, are we on different time zones? What time is it for you right now? It's 8:39 for me.
Um, it's same here.
Okay, cool.
You're in Arizona, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think we're on different time zones.
For
No.
half of the year, we are on different time zones, and for half of the year, we're not.
Oh
Because
yeah, Arizona has that wacky thing where
you
you
guys
guys don't change
recognize
the
daylight
clock.
savings, and we don't because it's bullshit and it's
Or
useless.
rather, we have the wacky thing where we change the clocks
Yeah.
for no reason.
I mean, like, it literally is for, like, farmers to be able to farm slightly longer in that part of the year. Like, why do we still do it? No idea.
Yes, but the advent of electricity has rendered this irrelevant. So now it's just a relic of a bygone era that should die.
Perish. It should fucking perish. There's no need for it. Why you gotta change your clocks? I mean, nowadays it's not even a
I'm
problem
taking
because it's all
I'm taking a
electronic.
hardline stance. Yes, I know, but it's still an annoyance that
It
we have to
is.
deal with. I'm taking a hardline stance against daylight savings time. The madness has to stop.
Yeah, me too. Daylight raving time, however, that's one of the best times there is. Just having a glow stick rave in the broad daylight, now that's a party.
I don't know how effective that would be.
Your you roboted out in a way that was like, oh, I don't know how effective that would be. It was like musical. It was amazing.
Like auto tune, like that.
Yeah, like it went,
Thank you.
oh,
Thank you. I'm dropping a new single this month.
amazing. I'll look forward to it. Hey, do we have any comments?
Comments and corrections. Comments and corrections. We do have one.
Awesome.
Young left a comment.
Oh,
Young,
Young.
very good,
Good to see
very
him
good friend
again.
of the show.
Yeah.
Um, loyal listener, longtime loyal listener. He left a comment on episode 7.
Gotcha.
When it comes to plundering, you have to think about the context of the fights. Almost every fight is a long-range automatic. There's nothing to plunder. I can't think of a use for plunder in Josuke's fights. For example, fights like Blue Hawaii, Urban Gorilla, Poor Tom. He never even gets a chance to use his bubble bombs. And he has a point. I actually went onto JojoWiki.com and looked at the list of stands for Jojolion.
Mm-hmm.
And
This brings
yeah,
us into something
actually,
else.
I actually have confirmed that it is pretty much all long-range automatic stands that Josuke fights.
Which then,
Although that doesn't necessarily mean that he can't still use plundering. Like, I thought of an example that could have been used in Blue Hawaii, because the trigger of Blue Hawaii is the person currently infected with Blue Hawaii touches you, right?
mm-hmm.
So,
Or you touch
you
their blood.
know, he could he could have bubbled some of the blood and like sent it off somewhere.
Yeah, true, true, true. He could have infected somebody else.
Bought himself some time.
But you know what?
That
That's a
wasn't
pretty ignoble, dastardly way to fight that stand. To just give the curse to
true.
somebody else.
It's
Our
true.
main
It's
JoJos are
true.
always
Josuke
like
probably.
somewhat virtuous, you know. I mean, even the
I think
ones that are
Giorno would do that
the
though.
ones that are like ruthless killers, maybe. But you know, even Giorno has like an element of nobility. Like he's on the side of justice, you know. Like Koichi sees him with the Joestars behind him,
Yeah.
and is like, "Oh, that is a good boy." True.
Yeah. Josuke wouldn't really do something like that, but the fact remains that it was a possible option for him.
For sure.
Other than that, that's a valid point that Young brings up, that there hasn't really been much use for plundering
Mm-hmm.
in most of the fights that Josuke's had to deal with.
Yeah, this brings us to that meme, and you were saying we need to really investigate this meme's accuracy and see if
Oh yeah, can you find that
oh,
and
it's
yeah,
already
it's
up
up
on the
here
screen.
in
I'm
this
I'm
chat.
putting it up right now.
You got it on the. Oh Yasuho, I ran into another fucking long-range automatic stand for the 193,850th fucking time. Please use your Paisley Park to do whatever the fucking plot needs it to do and save my 4 balls.
I love the 4 balls. It's like a ball pit. Oi, Yasuo. I ran into another fucking long-range automatic stand. For the 19... No, for the 193,850th fucking time.
It's hard when there's no comma.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell.
It's extremely hard. I don't even know how many numbers that is. I have to count like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so you put a comma in the middle.
Yeah,
I'm that stupid.
I had to count like in my head too.
All right, so let's
Human
think about
brains
this.
human brains are not equipped to address large quantities of numbers like that.
I agree. That's way too many numbers at once. Fuck that. Hey, have you noticed on the side of the JoJo wiki, they have changed their pictures for some of the characters? Like Jolene used to be her picture. Jolene used to be her picture where she's just standing there, you know, like from sort of the beginning of the part where she looked really cute. They've changed it now to like badass Jolene in like fighting stance. Like they updated it a little bit.
I didn't notice that. I did notice they got a cool little thing when you're using ad block. They have like
I'm the interfering speedwagon.
Yeah, I'm the interfering speed. They also have like one with Josuke and and Jotaro. It's like
oh wait, Josuke, tell him something cool.
It's yeah, that one.
Yeah, but I'm here on the page
those
of.
are neat. So I liked that. So I turned off ad block. I appreciate the
I like it too,
I
but not
appreciate
that
the
much.
hustle. The ads aren't actually that terrible.
No, I mean I just I don't really turn off ad block for anybody. It's on, you know. I sort of set it and forget it, you know. But anyway, I'm on the.
I can turn it off for specific sites.
Fair play, given your support. But I'm on the page for Jojolion stands now. Let's see. Out of all the ones that Josuke has to fight, let's see how many are fucking long range automatic stands.
Fun is not.
No. Paper
California
Moon King.
California King Bed is automatic, but it's not long range, and he does use plundering for that one.
Mm-hmm. Because he takes the sound away. Paper Moon King, where everyone's face is the same, that's long range, but not necessarily automatic. Right?
And he doesn't actually have a real fight with it. He has a fight that's affected by it, but
yeah, he has a bad day that day.
With it. He actually has a couple of bad days.
Yeah.
Where Paper Moon King is concerned.
Poor Josuke.
Because there was where he was trying to find was he trying to find Yasuho that the first time?
Yeah, because they were supposed to meet at Honey Sesame Street Cafe, and everything says Honey Sesame Street Cafe now.
Oh yeah, and the other one was with the branch.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite moments in the entire part. By the way, have I ever told you this? That's when I knew Jojolion went from good to great. I was like,
I think you've told me this multiple times.
Well, just
we defeated everyone.
We defeated everyone is up there. That's part of it. But just the moment when Josuke goes back to Spaghetti Mamazuku on the ground and he's just sort of crying, he's like, I lost the branch. I fucked up. That's it. It's over. I was like...
His palms are sweaty and his weak arms are heavy. He's Mamazuku Spaghetti.
He's Mamazuku Spaghetti. Mamazuku's turned into spaghetti already. Anyway, but yeah, when he's like, I lost the fruit, we're fucked, everything's ruined, then I was like, oh, I didn't expect this to happen. And that sets up, like, Jobin secretly has the fruit and Josuke doesn't know about it. It's pretty great. Everything from that point onwards in Jojolion has been, like, the final act. Like, leading up to it, at least. Like, it would have been a much more boring,
Okay.
more straightforward story if they just got the branch there, you know? It was that curveball.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I feel like it needed it at at the time, Jojolion didn't even really have a main villain.
Right.
And now Jojolion arguably does have a main villain.
I think at this point, Jojolion has too many main villains. Like, think about this. There's fucking Toru, Jobin, motherfucking, wait, what else was I just saying? Oh, Toru, Jobin, the head doctor, and fucking, Kato, theoretically. So, I mean, we've got Toru, obviously, is the one we need to get out of the way first.
When is Kato gonna be relevant again?
I mean,
Because she showed up for that one chapter, for that one flashback, and then she's just removed from the story.
I mean, I still think she is gonna be like, she waits for her moment. I'm pretty sure she's aware of all the shit that is happening right now, and is just like, yeah, that's going fine.
She's lounging in the deck chair and tanning, and she looks up, raises the sunglasses and says, "Y'all hear something?"
She's just out back in the hammock, just chilling. Yasuo screaming in pain, dying on the ground like 7 feet away from her. Y'all hear something?
I thought the rain sounded like Josuke.
Alright, Speed King is not long range or automatic. Born This Way, long range automatic stand.
No, it is not.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
kind of.
I mean, dude.
Yeah.
I freaking just looked at the page, and it says, Born This Way is a stand of Kyo Nijimura. A humanoid stand on a motorcycle, it automatically pursues its designated target. Type, automatic stand. Case closed.
Man, I miss Kyo.
Me too. But I think it's an automatic stand if, like, you, the attackee, the target, if you can summon it and get it to start attacking you without the user even, like, participating or thinking about it, then it's, like, automatic.
That's true.
If you can get the stand to show up and do its thing without the knowledge of the user, automatic stand.
Yeah. So that's automatic, and range refers to how close the user has to be to you. And in this case, Kyo doesn't need to be anywhere near Josuke.
No.
So, long range.
Mm-hmm. Les Fuels, that's Shakedown Road. So I wouldn't.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of a way that plundering could have been used there.
Well, he did use the fucking bubbles in that fight to transport.
He stole the money.
Yeah.
He stole the money.
That was, I think, the introduction of Josuke can put physical things in his bubbles and move them around, or maybe not the introduction, but like that's where it became. And I wanted to say, fucking, he used that in the latest goddamn chapter. Wait, why are we doing this instead of moving on to the chapter discussion?
No.
All right,
Good
so
comment, Young.
Born This
It was
Way,
very
fucking
thought-provoking.
Dubiwa, fucking Blue Hawaii, fucking.
Remember, Dubiwa wasn't even fought by Josuke.
No, yeah, that's true. That was Tsurugi and whatever the hell. But it is an automatic.
He could use plundering when he was fighting the Aphex twins, because that one brother has the ability that he shoots poison gas out of the ball.
Yeah, but he does use plundering in that fight. Like he doesn't.
He did use plundering in that fight.
He doesn't fucking like take away the property of something, but he does like put shit in the bubbles and use that to his advantage. Like that's the fight where he puts a bunch of like nuts and bolts and screws in bubbles, and then he like pops them, and it seems like he's able to send all of those things out in a specific direction when the bubble pops. That's pretty cool. I feel like they've been subtly powering up Josuke's ability this whole time. You know, like
We
maybe
have to do the obligatory. We have to do the obligatory monthly mention of the Otsuyu Yagiyama fight, just to say that he doesn't use plundering in that fight.
I mean, we could have let it come up naturally, but like fucking, I think
I'm
they've been
getting it out of the way. I'm getting it out of the way.
rather than you know, rather than it being like, oh, Araki forgot / changed what Josuke's main ability was going to be, I don't think he has forgotten or changed it. I think he has been subtly powering up Josuke this whole time. Because, like, the things that the stand can do have been, like, slightly widened and slightly increased every time. It used to be just like you pop and then you take an aspect of something. And now it's like, okay, so the bubbles can explode, the bubbles can transport things, the bubbles can do all sorts of shit. The bubbles are using the spin also. Anyways, it's like he's been expanding their functionality by having it be like, okay, here's a new situation.
Came back
Josuke
up
can
in this
do
chapter.
this.
That came back up in this chapter in a big way.
Yeah, yes it did. Well, anyways, let's get to the damn chapter. Because I have shit in here I want to talk about.
Let's start. Yeah, let's do you have earlier talking points from the chapter than the big moment?
Yes.
Because I'd like to start with those if possible.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me go back to last month real quick. We had aggressive B. We had the big B reveal. And we got a Jojo lion. And by that I mean we got a Jojo tiger. And I said it was a lion. Araki drew Yotsuyu. The Devil's Palm. Lucy Steele is the one who took the corpse back. Toru's a rock human. Young Norisuke. Mamazuku is a Zeppeli. Look at his hair. The head doctor puts his hat on. Back in the room. Asbestos. Mamazuku reaches out his hand and shields Josuke from the popsicle stick. That was the best shit. And that's it. That was the last chapter. Okay, so chapter 100. Right on the first page, Mamazuku's getting asbestos out of his eye.
Hold on.
And he's got the little wound on his hand.
Hold on. Did you see the Ultra Jump cover that was with this?
Oh yes, the one with it's got Toru, Yasuo, Mamazuku, and Josuke. Josuke's like blue and orange.
Yeah, big Ultra Jump cover for chapter 100.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't actually see this when I first read the chapter because the dog park scans actually came out first, so they didn't have the Ultra Jump cover.
I want to talk about that later.
It was actually the first time I read the dog park scans before the Hiwa Mata Noboru.
Hiwa Mata Noboru. Yeah, you got it right.
Noboru.
Yeah.
Scans rather.
Sans. Those
are pretty good
every time.
Those are pretty good scans. I definitely prefer the Hiwa Mata Noboru.
I do too.
Noboru scans.
Noboru,
yes.
like from Ocarina of Time, the Gerudo woman, Noboru. That doesn't help, does it?
I don't know.
Anyway, I prefer the
big Ultra Jump cover, very colorful.
Noboru
I like
scans
it
as well. And I will explain why later. But anyways, oh, you know what? Actually, we can start right here. So, let me go on Manga Dex and read the fucking actual chapter. I'm gonna get the dog park scans up here.
There's even a textless version. Of this cover.
Right.
On Manga Dex.
I have the textless version downloaded, so I got it from Hiwa Matanoboru. All right, so dog park already. So in the very beginning, on the fucking chapter page, it says calamities approach from all over the world in Hiwa Matanoboru. And on the Japanese one, it fucking says calamity closes in from the fabric of the world. Already, I don't like this as much. Calamities approach from all over the world. Calamity closes in from the fabric of the world. Like, I understand he's trying to put more, like, flavor into it, you know? And also to make the dialogue more natural sounding. But I don't actually really like it. Like, I like the dialogue in JoJo to be, like, kind of stilted and weird. That's how JoJo should sound to me, in my opinion.
The opening narration of this chapter as well. It's very like 50s sci-fi theater, like TV movies that you would see. Asbestos spurting out and the threat of da da da.
Yeah, that's true. That's like, tune in next time. Alright, but look. On the head doctor's page where he's saying, like, so personally, no one's ever been 1 centimeter away from me. Did you read the dog park scan? Oh, yeah, you did. So, look at this. I'm going to read the head doctor's little speech in, like, in dog park and then Hiwa Matanoboru. And you tell me which one's better. In dog park, he says, so personally, this is the first time this has happened, so I'm a bit surprised. Only a centimeter away. I mean, I don't think there's ever been someone who's gotten that close to me. You know, without a calamity occurring. I'm not really sure what happens at 1 centimeter away. 'Cause it's my first time. I don't really understand it either. Seriously. There's nobody who can attack me. Not a single person. That I know for sure. Wonder of you. Alright. Here's that in Hiwa Matanoboru. He says, honestly, I'm surprised. This is the first time I've seen such a thing happen as well. 1 mere centimeter. Not once has anyone gotten this close to me without a calamity befalling them. Indeed, with just 1 centimeter to go, will something happen? I can't say I know. There's really no precedent I can cite, honestly. Not one person has ever managed to attack me. I can also say that confidently. That is wonder of you. That's way cooler! It's way better! He's really goofy and silly sounding in the dog park one. I understand dog park is trying to translate the words and make them cute, but I don't like it.
But I don't know, but I think that kind of works for the head doctor in a way. Like, he's supposed to seem kind of like unearthly, like
Right.
he's this human stand hybrid.
He's like a
and
silly,
so
doddering old
talks
man
in a
also,
weird way.
but he's also really threatening. I don't need him to be that
Yeah.
silly, though, you know?
I don't know. I don't have that much of a problem with the dog park translation for that particular bit.
Dude, the very next page where the head doctor is taunting Mamazuku, and then Mamazuku loses his temper and grabs him by the throat. Again, Hiwa Matanoboru blows them out of the water. That, too, was from the flow of calamity. Back then, as well, you were fully immersed in that flow. It is only by chance that you lived long enough to be here. And in fucking Dog Park, he says that was also about flow of calamity. Your life was submerged in the flow as it is now, and by chance, you've ended up here. Way less cool! It is only by chance that you lived long enough to be here, like you were supposed to die many years ago, and by chance you've ended up here. I feel like Hiwa Matanoboru is not worrying about, like once they translate it, they're not worrying about then making it sound smooth and nice. They're just worried about, like, giving you an English translation of what the fuck they actually said in Japanese. I feel like they're taking less liberty with it, which makes it less like flowy in English, but that's also a good thing, you know? They're taking less liberty with it. It's more direct. Anyway, so Hiwa Matanoboru.
I'm not gonna drop the Hiwa Matanoboru scans for the dog park scans. I just happened to read the dog park scans this time because they were out and the Hiwa Matanoboru scans weren't.
Mm-hmm.
So,
The Noboru guys were kind of
but
sad that somebody beat them to the punch, but you can't make anybody else
I was
stop.
gonna read the Noboru scans anyway, just for consistency with what I had already read. I don't like when I'm watching or reading something by one translation group and then they stop doing it and somebody else picks it up and it's so radically different.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna sneeze. Ugh.
Bless you.
But yeah, I feel you. I have no problem with Dog Park doing their thing and like making their own version of the translation that suits them and appeals to their people. But, if they made Hiwa Matanoboru feel sad and then quit, I would be like, no, god damn it, because that's already like the voice and style that I associate with Jojolion. I want it to continue in that way.
That actually happened in a manga that I read.
What was it?
Okay, so let me find the exact title. Where is it? Musuko ga kawaii kute shika taganai. 1 second, it's got one more word in there. Oh, got a couple more words. Mazoku no haha oya.
Okay.
It's got an English alternate name. Demon Mother, my son is so cute. I just can't help myself. There was a scanlation group it's been passed through multiple scanlation groups over the course of over years. The latest group actually lost the motivation to keep doing it after somebody sniped them out of the upload a couple of times in a row, and then that person actually stopped after volume 5 was over because they didn't have the volume 6 scans. Yo.
Yes, I was just coughing. Sorry. But I was listening to your story.
Uh,
And that is the exact fucking thing that Mr. Hiwa Matanoboru man, Cool 02010, is trying to prevent. He made a post on Twitter when the real chapter came out that was like, I wrote a post like 5 years ago discussing why you shouldn't snipe other people's projects. And he linked to like Jojolion 53 or something. And years ago in Jojolion 53, he made a whole big post like, hey, we were trying to get the chapter out as quick as we can, but we got sniped. And it sucks when other people do that because it kills our motivation to keep going. And the last thing you guys want is a scanlation group that has stopped going, that like dies somewhere along the way. So he was just saying like, be considerate. Don't snipe other people's shit. If you really have something to add to the project, then join the scanlation group. Don't start your own rival one and put us out of business and then get bored and quit. Like, that's the worst thing that could happen. But anyways,
so
he posted that on Twitter,
to the new
and every comment was like, you can't own the concept of translating Jojolion. Like, stop being babies. Like, he's just better. You fucking stop whining. And it's like, guys, you're all idiots. Like, this man has been giving us his free time and effort for, like, years and years. And you're like, sorry, dick. Someone else's is better now. And it's like, I don't even care if you do like Dog Parks better and you're just switching to that one. Like, be considerate. Like, fuck. It was like nobody was willing to hear him out. They all just went to, like, the furthest possible, like, oh, this guy's fucking... So it's sad, because I love him so much. Cool 2010.
So fortunately, the Demon Mom story has a happy ending, where somebody actually provided raws for Volume 6 to the guy who's scanlating it now, so he can continue scanlating.
Nice. That's a happy ending indeed. Um,
But yeah, it always sucks when somebody like just abandons a series after driving out somebody who is already actively translating it.
right. It's like when a king conquers another nation, and then he's just like the most absentee king. Like he doesn't do anything, fucking doesn't help at all. It's like, what'd you even bother conquering us for? You could have left us alone. But yeah, so the dog park versus Hiwa Matanoboru
Now the
drama.
people are all starving.
The
Now the people
people
are all starving,
the
and they're
people are rioting. And the people need Jojolion. And they cannot have it.
and there are enemy armies at the gates. And what are you doing?
Dude, can we talk about how good the head doctor stand looks? Like, this thing looks so beautiful. I didn't much care for the design of the head doctor, nor did I much care for the design of the stand with, like, the arm blades. Which, by the way, holy fuck, is this thing gonna have arm blades? Are they gonna pop out at some point and he's gonna slice somebody up? That'd be sick. But anyway,
I think so.
I wasn't
I think those are mainly.
for show.
Yeah, for
But they're
show.
not even for
Mainly.
show because they're not even on display. They're not even out. He has them concealed. So, like, what the fuck?
Because he's currently hybrid man. He's currently got the design between the head doctor and the stand.
Right. But that's actually what I wanted to say is that I don't really care for the design of the head doctor and I don't really care for the design of the stand on its own. But the stand wearing like a suit jacket and that little scarf and a bowler hat makes it so cute. I love the stand. Like, just the stand wearing a bowler hat is such a great design. But I'd also like to point out, on the chapter page where it has Toru on like the the Ultra Jump cover for this month. Toru's hair sort of looks like a
Yeah, I'm
bowler
going to
hat.
that. Yeah, it does kind of.
It does kind of. I mean, it's
So
definitely different than
I,
how Toru's hair
so
is normally.
I don't know. I don't know if you noticed this, but on JoJo Wiki, the page for Wonder of You, or rather, I didn't actually see the page itself, but like on the list of stands, the stand user is listed as the head doctor, whose name I forget, slash Toru.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh, no, 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 no. Hold on. This is what it says on the wiki right now, right this second. It is a sentient stand that acts as the head doctor of TG University Hospital using the name Satoru Akefu. And it says alias Satoru Akefu and user Toru. So is that definitive then?
But look at the list of look at the list of stands entry for it though.
Automatic stand, sentient stand, natural humanoid, artificial humanoid. Wow. Or are you talking about the abilities list? Identity assumption, long range illusion creation, calamity
No,
generation?
I'm talking. No, I'm talking about go to the page called List of Stands, and go to the Jojolion tab and look at the entry for Wonder of You.
Oh, okay. List of stands. I was on its independent page. Alright. Wonder of You. Yeah. It says Toru, and then in parentheses, Satoru Akefu. Interesting. Hey, listen to this. The stands of each protagonist, because the stands of each antagonist have the power to manipulate time and/or space. The stands of each protagonist follow a naming convention of special materials: platinum, diamond, gold, stone, bone, and flesh. Like what? And flesh? That's pretty interesting.
Yes. Ah, yes, the material soft.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess soft and wet would have to be referring to flesh. All right. Weird.
Sure, could refer to a lot of things. A duck is soft and wet.
Yeah, you're right about that one, actually. You're right about that one. Hey, how do you feel about the Awaking Three Leaves battle? Or Doctor Wu battle, where Awaking Three Leaves shows up for the first time?
I feel like it's kind of a missed opportunity uh, to just have
Oh,
Josuke show up and solve the problem. I think we talked about this before.
yeah. That's actually the only thing I was even bringing it up to say. I was just gonna say, man, isn't that such a great fight where Yasuo and Mitsuba are like desperately trying anything they can to try and kill this guy, and like none of it works, and then at the end, Josuke just shows
I'm not
up.
a fan. I'm not a fan because because it harkens back to classic battle shonens where like the only character that matters is the protagonist, so
Right.
other characters don't get to have their own victories.
Never.
They're buying time for the protagonist to show up
Essentially.
for the Goku
Right.
or
But you know what though? The
or the
right way to do that
Naruto or
The right
whatever.
way to do that is to acknowledge that the characters are terrified and are holding out hope for their one friend who could probably take care of it, like in Dragon Ball against Vegeta and Nappa. That's pretty cool. I mean, it was
I
acceptable
like
that
how
one
One
time.
Punch Man handles it. I like how One
Right.
Punch Man handles it because Saitama solves the problem but doesn't get any of the credit.
Mm-hmm. And it's also like,
You know, so
do you remember when
it
Moomin
sort of like
Rider
plays with
is
that a
fighting the
little.
King of the Sea in the pouring rain and he's just utterly thrashing him? He's just beating the shit out of him. And then Saitama comes up and he sort of like picks him up off the ground and he's like, good fight. And then he just one punches him.
Yeah, yeah, that was good.
He's like, good job, man. You held out as
Anyway,
long as you could.
this is a Jojolion podcast.
When
Let's
Josuke
talk
comes into
more about
Doctor
this chapter.
Wu, he just shoots bubbles filled with medical cement at him and just traps him forever, killing him instantly. It's like, oh, okay, cool. So to win this fight, we didn't need a better plan or to be smarter. We just needed Josuke. Cool. I'm not an enormous fan either.
Thanks, Araki.
Thanks, a Rocky. All right, back to fucking the manga. Let's move on.
Back to current chapters.
Asbestos spurting out and the threat of da da da. Do you have any like thoughts or interesting things to say about this chapter? Because I have some big ones, but like we can fucking probably mosey around for a little while.
The only thoughts that I have, the only things that I have written down to talk about are like much later in the chapter
Yeah,
at
me
that
too.
big moment.
Right.
Yeah, not a lot actually happens
Well, I'll go
of
through.
note up until.
I think I might have a little bit to say. First of all, I love how you remember, Josuke punches the desk and he makes his bubbles explode once again. Josuke is using the explosions a lot these days. Like he is using the violent bubble pops as attacks very frequently, and I like it more than before. Um,
I just gotta say these black and white pages are really hard to read. Like the action going on.
Sometimes, yeah. Especially like the page where Mamazuku says, "It's there. It climbed up onto the desk," and Josuke's standing on the desk, and then the next panel is of him like swinging his arm sideways. It's like, what were you hitting there? What was that for? Is that to create bubbles there? I don't know. Sometimes the action is kind of hard to read, but sometimes you get a really nice page layout, and you're like, ah. Like the one where Josuke's on top of the desk, and you can see Mamazuku in in behind, sort of unraveled, and then the popsicle stick crane on the underside of the table, and it's like black. It's pretty cool. That's a good page layout. But dude, this popsicle
Sorry, which
stick,
page is that actually?
it's right
Which
after,
page?
should be like page 6. Maybe 7.
Page 6. I'm gonna go to around
Josuke
that area.
standing on
Oh
top of
yeah,
desk.
yeah. That's a good one. That's a
Yeah,
good one.
I like that
Where
panel.
it's where the da 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 is in the shadow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's really great, the contrast. But anyways, something else I really liked about this, Josuke is getting like slashed all over just a tiny bit by the popsicle sticks. I thought it was so dope. Go to 2 pages ahead. This was so cool because the action is hard to read.
Okay.
Because the action is somewhat hard to read, I fucking was having a difficult time realizing what happened for a moment. I thought Josuke just like grabbed the popsicle stick as it came close to him. This is like page 9. But check this out. Look at the top panel where he's got asbestos all over his eyes. And then the next little panel, the popsicle stick hits his fingers. So he puts his hand up and lets himself like get hit in the hand and get bloody. And then he like whips his hand around and closes his fist around the string to like pull da 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 towards him. That's pretty fucking cool. He was like, okay, I'm gonna take a little damage, but I'm gonna get the string, and then from there, the next one he's like,
This kind of actually reminds me of this kind of reminds me of how like Jonathan fights.
oh
You know,
yeah, yeah, exactly, like fucking
just brute force.
absolutely. Like you remember when he got the fucking
Take
hat stuck in his
just
arm?
take the damage to deal with the problem.
Right, exactly. He just tanks it. Remember when Jonathan grabbed the thief's knife? Remember when he tanked Speedwagon's bladed hat in his arm and it sunk to the bone, but he kept going?
Remember when he lit his fist on fire so that he could punch Dio?
Do you remember when he tackled Dio off of a balcony to impale him on the fucking thing in the middle of the living room that he had no guarantee he would not also impale
Yeah,
himself on?
that was sick.
Yeah,
That was sick.
that was the coolest
I
shit.
feel like Jonathan's fights with Dio, in terms of their dramatic effect, are out of order. Like
Mm,
his first like big fight in the mansion, that's like a final battle.
it kind of is. When you get there, it feels like the final battle. But then like it's the final battle for that part of the story, for part 1 of part 1. Cuz right after that they cut to like now Jojo and Dio are graduating high school. They play football together. You know?
No. Not, I'm not talking about like when they're kids. I'm talking about when he frickin' spears him off the balcony
Oh,
onto the statue.
yeah. That's sort of it. That is more exciting than when he fights him as like fully vampire Dio. And that fight is much more emotional because he just killed George Joestar, you know, and turned into a vampire for the first time. Yeah, I feel you. I thought you were saying their punch up as kids, but no, yeah, that fight is probably. I would rate it the first adult Jonathan versus Dio fight where they're in the Joestar Manor. That's probably first, and then the childhood punch up is probably second. The one where he lights his arm on fire is third. Because I mean, I feel that there's not that much back and forth to that fight, you know, and there's also not that much like great story context. It's sort of like, okay,
It's
we're
mo-
going to kill
it's
Dio because we have
mostly
to.
it's mostly Dio showing off his powers
Right.
and wiping the floor with the other people there.
You know what though? Actually, I would rate that fight below even Dio's head versus Jonathan on the boat. That's a better fight. That has like more interesting twists and
Yeah,
turns. That doesn't go how you think it's going
yeah.
to go at all. And it's much more emotional. It has a lot more going for it. But anyways, he is fighting like Jonathan right here. He's just tanking the damage. It's badass. But you know, he sort of starts to wobble and fall off the desk. But then he does all of the auras in the world downwards. And hey, what do you think is fucking happening here? Look at this page. The page
You're
right
talking about
after.
the two-page spread where he's punching the desk.
Yeah, but look at on the first panel there where there's the asbestos coming out of his eye and it says "Blah!" Like there's an absolute fountain of asbestos right now. But like look how he places these bubbles on the desk and then they pop with the force of a punch? Is that what happens? Cuz like look. Like tell me what you think this page is
Well,
conveying to you.
soft and wet can store items and properties, so it stands to reason it could also store force.
Yeah, true. But I'm just
So,
trying
and
to
like,
identify exactly what is meant by
I
this because
think,
the head doctor goes, "Hmm?"
I think,
You know?
I think he's combining. I think he's combining like the force of soft and wet's punches with that exploding bubble technique,
The bubble
where
pops.
he embeds a bubble in like a surface,
Hmm.
and then it
And
pops.
it seems to be for the
So like,
purpose of not breaking the desk, but transferring that force to come out the other side. You know, because you see on the next page the bottom falls out.
yeah, it's like the ripple in the frog.
Oh yeah! Wow! Wow! What an amazing connection!
This this chapter this chapter actually has a lot of like things that
What?
feel like callbacks to earlier
Dude!
like
I didn't
parts.
catch that at all. That's so smart. It is the ripple in the
And
frog.
I got a few of them listed in here actually. A few things that like feel like callbacks to specific moments in earlier parts.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Fucking, we're about halfway through the chapter now. Or no, a little less.
I wanted to wait
As they come
until we
up?
get to the big
Okay,
moment because that's where all of my
for
yeah.
sure. I'm going to the next page. It moved. It's on the wall. Josuke, you do realize you've stood up, yes? You've extended out your arm and leg joints. And you've already been stabbed no less than 4 times, haven't you? Can you even see? Do you know how you're going to end up? And then the fucking thing comes down from the ceiling. This was an amazing goddamn part of the chapter. Doo 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 da 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 has him fucking has like the string around
It's
his
at this
neck.
point where like it's at this point where I was expecting him to like use the bubbles to siphon out the asbestos,
Yeah, me too.
but he
Like
doesn't.
right now, a character needs to be playing their trump card, you know. But Mamazuku plays his instead, and Mamazuku does the coolest goddamn thing Mamazuku has ever done with his power.
It's the coolest.
I know, right? I'm
He's
so
Spider-Manning onto the ceiling.
He Spider Man's onto the ceiling, and then he uses his hand that has no fingers on it, his left hand, and he starts to unravel the tip, and then he just sends out a
So
single strand of ribbon, fast like a bullet. That's so
so
goddamn cool.
I think I think the head doctor makes a comment on this, and I don't remember if he says it like this in the Noboru scans or if it's just a dog bark thing. But he mentions that he's moving like a snake.
Mm-hmm. I'm
And
looking at
do you
that
know
right
how
now.
do you know how
He says, "What snake
you
like
know how
movements?"
you know how snakes they have like side to side movements in order to move forward,
Right.
so they don't stretch out. So that's how he's able to counter
Oh my god,
da da
wow.
da.
I didn't even think about that. What snake like movements? He's not stretching out his joints at all. Huh. That's crazy. But really, I was more excited about the Spider-Man thing was cool, but I was more excited about the Mamazuku ribbon gun. Like he shoots Dadada with it, he hits him, but then he also like uses it as a little blade at the end and cuts his fucking head off. Like that's so metal. That's amazing. Like Mamazuku just did the coolest thing with his stand that he has ever done, and now he's on his way out, man. It's the last we're gonna see of him. It's so fucking sad.
You know what? This has shades of like Kakyoin's final battle in part 3.
Yeah,
You know?
yes, exactly.
He does one last cool thing with his stand. You know, he invents a new technique that we've never seen the stand use before,
Mm-hmm.
and then he gets bodied because the main villain is just too strong.
Yep. It's exactly like
You
that.
know, it's just like the 20-meter emerald splash.
Mm-hmm. Man, oh man. But like he's about to use it on the head
He even
doctor.
he even gets donutted. He even gets donutted. He opens his shirt at the end, and he's got like a donut through his chest.
I'm pretty sure he rips that donut himself. Like, are you
Well,
implying that that donut has
it could
already
still be
been
a
there?
callback. It could still be a callback.
True. The donut is always a fucking. I mean, the donut is a constant, regardless of whatever. But like, do you think he got that injury previously and he was ripping open his shirt to show us? I interpret it as he's ripping open his literal physical form. You know, he's Ribbon Man. He can do that. He was trying to show something to Josuke. Actually, we'll get there when we get there. Hang on. This is cool as shit. Mamazuku's on the ceiling and he has like the ribbon gun a centimeter away from the head doctor, and he's like, Josuke, I've exterminated the bug, and you are able to see now, right? And in that moment, I was like, oh my god, Mamazuku's going to die. There's no way he would make that much progress and for free, you know? Like, he just one hit killed the bug. That means Mamazuku is gonna get one hit killed. And I was exactly fucking
Equivalent
right.
exchange.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I'm pretty sure that if Mamazuku hadn't gotten pissed off and grabbed the head doctor's throat, if he had just fired the ribbon gun, he probably would have killed him. From 1 centimeter away, what would even be there to interrupt? But he didn't. He grabbed him with his hand.
But it's always like this with the main villains, though. You know, like they say or do something to get one of the protagonists pissed,
Right.
and the protagonists stop thinking and just attack them directly, and then they get bodied.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
if you remember in part 3, where Polnareff tried to stab Dio in the back of the head, but he announced his presence first, so he got through, but he didn't have time to actually
to do
finish him
damage.
off.
Yeah. Like, he stabbed him in the brain, but if he wanted to actually, like, do big damage, he would have had to, like whisk it around, you know? But I have something that I want to cover with Mamazuku. So go to the page where he grabs him by the throat, and he's gonna kill him. In the dog park scans, they make him say, die, you motherfucker. But in this, he says, I've got you. Drop dead, you piece of shit. They're both pretty good. I think die, you motherfucker is a little... It's maybe more powerful, but I don't think it fits Mamazuku that much. That fits, like, Okuyasu.
I think this also is more in line with, like, what JoJo characters typically use as, like, their go-tos.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. But again, Dog Park is trying to spice it up, you know? So I understand. But, yeah, anyways. So, this is something I want to discover. Go to the Drop Dead You Piece of Shit page. Now, I'm pretty sure I know why this happened, and it's interesting. Why do you think Mamazuku's braid was cut off? Because look, he zooms in, he fires the ribbon gun, and then the first thing we see is his own braid has been severed, and it's flying through the air. And you go to the next page, his braid is on the ground. He missed the head doctor. The head doctor didn't do anything to him. He just intersected Josuke's soap bubbles. And yet his own braid has been cut off. It hasn't been deleted, like the parts of him that ran into the soap bubbles. It's been cut off. Look at where he struck the head doctor.
But if you look at the page where the ribbon blade is in the wall,
Mm-hmm.
And you look at the panel that has the braid cut off,
Mm-hmm.
like it has a circular impact point where a bubble must have hit him.
I don't know about that. Anyways, look where he hit the head doctor compared to where the slicing of his own hair braid happened. Like, there's a little infographic somebody did on Twitter, which was like...
Also, I could be wrong, but isn't Supan like a sound effect that's commonly used for Josuke's soap bubbles?
I don't know. I actually have no knowledge one way or the other on that. I'm not sure. But I do think the impression that he's trying to leave is that Mamazuku attacked the head doctor, but barely missed, and his attack was redirected to himself, so it barely missed, and cut off his braid. Now, why would his attack be redirected to himself? I mean, is that just calamity energy, or what? It wasn't like a coincidence, that happened that turned his attack around.
Sounds like Love Train to me.
It wasn't a coincidence, It wasn't like, oh, he missed and then something else, like scissors fell off the shelf and cut his braid. No, it just happened. So the very attack was reflected.
Do you remember Love Train from Part 7?
Yes. Do you remember Giorno's frog?
Yeah, that too.
I am going to make an assertion right here, right now, that Josuke's soap bubbles have damage reflection properties, like Giorno's frog. We didn't see it, but Mamazuku hit a hidden Josuke soap bubble, and that's why damage was reflected. Josuke's bubbles are little cords that spin. They can spin the direction of your attack back at you. Also, what was the other thing I was going to say? They're little spinning cords. Also, another piece of evidence for this. Have we ever seen anyone that's not Josuke pop one of the bubbles? Has anyone ever tried to pop one of his bubbles like an enemy? Like, oh, I'm just going to get this one. Bip. Have they ever been popped like without his immediate wanting to? I think he always detonates them throughout the part so far. He has always caused them to pop himself. I think we are just now seeing what happens if you're an enemy and you try to pop one of his bubbles. Like if you attack a bubble, this is just what happens to you. Although
can you hold that thought for 1 second?
Sure.
I have technical difficulties here.
Okay. I can hang on for a moment. It's all good.
Back to what you were saying before.
Okay. So, on this page right here, motherfucking... Man, that was not an opportune time to start vaping. Right before you were going to start the podcast? Fuck. Alright, cut that.
We had just a little bit of technical difficulties.
I'm having some technical difficulties in my lungs here, bro. Alright. I'm in some physical difficulties. Alright, listen to this. Araki forgot to draw Josuke's anchor on his shirt in this page. Undisputable. Araki legitimately forgot. Look. Gotcha. Checkmate, atheists. But anyway, the real thing to say on this page is that Josuke's bubbles reflect damage if you pop them and you're not Josuke.
But he did draw the star on his shoulder, so, equivalent exchange.
Equivalent exchange. Anyway, how do you feel about this Josuke damage bubble reflection theory thing? Because I'm pretty sure that's what cut Mamazuku's hair off. And also, like...
That's what I wanted to bring up.
The head doctor, Wonder of You, is also using spin. He's using spin negatively. When you try to attack him, he spins your attack back around at you, and you suffer the negative consequences.
What I wanted to bring up was like the way that the spin is being used here. Like these bubbles are rotating so fast that they erase any matter they come in contact with, It's a lot
Yeah.
like Cream from Part 3.
Oh yeah, wow. True. I guess it's also like Gyro's steel balls. I mean, they're not effective like this. They're like a bullet, but they are balls that do much more damage when they're spinning. You know, like that's the whole concept of that weapon. But yeah. And then Mamazuku at the end of this chapter. You know, soap bubbles. The things Josuke had hidden were these soap bubbles. Da 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 da. And hey, I want you to pay attention to the art style change on this next page, because like we have the page where Mamazuku first gets the chunks taken out of his shoulder. That's like a page. Look at the way Mamazuku and Josuke's faces are drawn, and then go to the next page, and then look at Mamazuku with the blood coming down him. His face is like really square. You know, he's sort of drawn in an interesting way. And same thing with Josuke down at the bottom of the page. He's really boxy for some reason. I wonder if this is a little case of the assistants, you know?
I think it's more like he's focusing on Mamazuku's face in these top 2 panels,
But, like,
and
also-
Josuke is more out of focus in this bottom panel.
But like one page before that, where the head doctor's dodging the fingers in the wall, look at the bottom of that page. Those 2 little panels of Josuke. He looks really square and boxy there too. And then go to the next page. Go to the one next page. Look at Josuke on this page. Look at how weird he looks. Like Mamazuku falling dead into the ground, that looks like it was drawn by Araki, you know? Like his foot's a little big, that's kind of funny. But look at Josuke, that looks like it was drawn by another manga artist. What is that? Look at his weird ass proportions, look at how big his shoe is. Look at his weird barrel chest, look at his weird pose.
We saw this. Well, we saw this before with his drawing of Toru in the last chapter, where he had those giant feet.
That's true, but
And, like,
just look at the weird ass everything on that Josuke. Isn't that the weirdest drawing of Josuke you ever did see? Like his proportions look very strange.
he's a little bigger in the torso, which is
Yeah.
weird.
He's pretty big. Like he's real chunky. Not like Rocky's passing things off to his assistants and they're drawing not as good as him, but like, you know, Araki fucking just sort of feels it out when he draws. So it's entirely possible he just went this direction with it, you know, and he ended up with something that looks like this. But Josuke usually looks more slim than that, you know? Like, Josuke's really, like, chunky in that panel. And his pose is all weird. And he's way too big. Like, compared to Mamazuku, like, the perspective is really weird in this panel as well. But, like, no complaints. Just interesting, you know? Anyways, on to the next page. Oh, so this is something. This is something as well. Go back to the page where Mamazuku dies. Like it zooms out and you see the bubble taken out of his head. On that panel, those 2 panels of Josuke on that previous page that I was calling your attention to, right there, the head doctor is explaining there are a few bubbles containing objects that you're making spin at high speeds. So your intention was to make me approach the soap bubbles and scrape me away with them. Yeah. But then Josuke says, "What did you say?" And then he thinks to himself, "You're kidding me, right? I controlled them?" Did you pick up on that? Josuke can manually fly the bubbles around now? That's another power-up.
I thought he was doing that before, though.
No, I think before, the bubbles sort of just like floated around and he had sort of vague influence over like what they did, but he couldn't like pilot them like specifically, you know? He couldn't like summon 10 bubbles and like use them specifically to like dance around you or whatever. Because right here he seems surprised that he controlled them. So what do we think about that, Mr. Christopher? Because I'm about to go to the dog park scans.
I'm looking at I was going to go look at the dog park scans because in those I remember reading it was more like he was shocked that like they damaged Mamazuku despite him controlling them.
Yeah, it's a completely different feeling to the translation. In the dog park one, it says some of them were mixed in with the things spinning at high speed. If you come close to me, you'll be erased by these soap bubbles. Which already, the head doctor's saying there are a few containing objects you're making spin at high speed. So your intention was to make me approach these soap bubbles and scrape me away with them. Was that it? But in dog park, he's saying it backwards because they got it wrong. If you come close to me, you'll be erased by these soap bubbles. Anyway, and then Josuke says, no, no way, but I was controlling them. And then, a little later, he has another little, he says, I was controlling it. And he still seems surprised here in the dog park ones, despite a second ago, he says, but I was controlling them. And then in the Hiwa Matanobu, he still says, I was controlling them. So, like, there's 2 times he says this. In Hiwa Matanobu, he seems surprised and, like, maybe shook up about it both times. In Dog Park, at the beginning, he seems like, no way, of course I can do that, and then surprised the second time. So I'm going to go ahead and say that first one is a mistrans. Because I feel like Josuke
Oh no.
being able
It
to...
feels like...
And I have more to point out about the unsatisfactoriness of the dog park scans. I have more. Like, some of the parts, Dog Park gave him really natural dialogue. Some of the parts, it's just wrong. What were you going to say? I mean, I'm not going to go on to the other bit before
I don't know.
It's time. Okay.
I don't know. I feel like him controlling the bubbles was like something that he was able to do before.
I don't know either. But I think at the very least, this is the first time he has been able to, like, make a room full of bubbles and then make all of them move in specific ways. Could we agree upon that at least? Because I think it's pretty clear he was able to make one bubble and then, like, make it fly to its destination before, right? But this is the first time he's made, like, a room full of bubbles all with specific moving directions.
So he was you remember his speech to Mamazuku about how I have these soap bubbles that exist under heaven and earth, and like he was so confident about like how he was going to defeat the head
Supple
doctor.
and moist, they spin. Yeah.
So like I think he knew at the time that he was like going to control the soap bubbles and use them to erase the head doctor.
I'm thinking that his confidence at that moment came from, I'm going to make him come to me, so I'm going to get the drop on him. But then the thing he's alluding to, like, I have a way to kill him, I know how to do it. The thing he's alluding to there is probably filling the room with soap bubbles, some of which contain objects which are spinning at high speeds, and the head doctor will approach him and bump into them, because there's just so many in the goddamn room. And I'm thinking that over the course of this, like, he remembers where all the bubbles are, but he's not, like, consciously moving them, and he only realizes that, like, he is controlling each individual bubble once this happens. Like, his unconscious mind keeping track of where each bubble is and subtly influencing it to move somewhere else. This might be too much extrapolation, but this is how I am reading it at the present moment. Like, this is my favorite interpretation. I mean, obviously, if the next chapter comes along and says, no, it's something else, then, like, that's what happened. But, you know, just the reading that makes the most sense to me. I think it is sort of a revelation to him that he can control that many bubbles with that much accuracy.
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe. Really, that's me extrapolating on what I'm seeing. I don't know which way it is. But anyway, more dog park complaining. Look at this. When Mamazuku's dying on the floor, Hiwa Matanobu, he says, I'm the only one a calamity befell. The thing that just showed itself was not a calamity. What appeared just now was good fortune. So he said, I'm the only one a calamity befell. In Dog Park, he said, what a calamity is up to me. The thing that was brought to the surface, that wasn't a calamity. The only thing I saw was good fortune. And he says, Josuke,
Yeah, that one is just wrong.
yeah, what a calamity is up to me. I disagree with that completely. He also says, Josuke, I don't think you know what your soap bubbles really look like as compared to Josuke. Before now, you hadn't realized the true form of your soap bubbles. Which is like, I like that more, but I recognize the other one's like not wrong. It's just a different way to say it. But anyways, on the next page, there's like a glaring error that changes how you read the scene. In Hiwa Matsunobu, he says, Josuke, are you listening? I can only say this once. It's about a number of your bubbles. We're right in front of him, but I've still got to say it. In Dog Park, he says, Josuke, listen, I can only say it once. I'm talking about those bubbles of yours, and I'm going to say it while he's here. And I'm going to say it while he's here versus we're right in front of him, but I've still got to say it. You know, because I have no time left to live. It's way better. Hiwa Matsunobu. But, I don't know which translation is best on this page where the head doctor has the question mark, and it says, no one has realized it. No one's even figured out that that is a stand. And in Dog Park, it says, nobody is aware of it. Nobody sees it within their stand. And the Japanese just really is that vague this month, apparently. Like, I've seen people on Twitter being like, no, neither one is wrong. They're just being super vague on purpose this month. So there's that. But this shit right here,
I think nobody sees it in their stand is probably actually more accurate in this case.
you could be right.
You know, 'cause
This is an area where
he's
it's a
talking
total
about-
toss-up.
He's talking about the attributes of Josuke's abilities and how he noticed them, but Josuke still hasn't seemed to notice them.
Mm-hmm.
The nature of his soap bubbles.
But I also think he's broadly talking about the concept of the spin and rotation, you know? I think he's actually giving us like a big, you know, like in Steel Ball Run, where he would give us like an explanation of like how stands work in this universe and shit. I think Mamazuku is actually deepening the connection right now. I think he's saying like, hey, all stands are spin a little bit, you know? Like, it's possible that whatever your, you know, your stand is just chords vibrating in that appearance. But Mamazuku creating this little thing with his finger, I think is really cool. This is a really amazing explanation of like, you know, because you can do this in real life. You can spin a little piece of yarn or whatever, and it'll sort of take this shape where it has like a big bow in the middle. If you spin it fast enough, it'll have the appearance of a circle. So that's like a thing in real life that's just a consequence of physics, but it's kind of otherworldly and very cool. It's like, whoa, why does it take this shape? And so Araki has taken that from real life and made it into like, no, Josuke, all things are connected to the spin. Look. And it's really cool. I love it. But you know, he spins and he makes that little ball, and then he rips open his shirt. Or he rips open his own chest.
I have to wonder at what point Araki decided that Josuke's soap bubbles would be spinning strings.
I don't know. Couldn't tell.
Like if that, like I wonder if that is something that he started, that he came up with while he was writing Jojolion, or if that was something he had always planned for.
That's an extremely good question. I don't know.
Because if you recall, in the info page in part 6 for Stone Free, Jolene's strings smell like soap.
Mm-hmm. They do. I remember that. I don't know what the significance of that is, but there must be some. Or not. But, anyway, Mamazuku rips his chest open. For what purpose, do you think? You know, what does he mean by that? I think I know, but I want to hear what you think.
I don't know. Like, to be honest, I just thought it was a reference to Kakyoin.
But I mean, like, how did he get that donut then, you know? I think he rips it open himself. And the reason that he's doing this is to show... This is literally what I think. I'm not joking at all. He's saying, like, hey, Josuke, I am just a line, like, vibrating in a certain shape, giving you the impression that there's, like, a person here. I'm just a ribbon spinning in the shape of a man. You know? He's breaking himself down to his base components. He's just showing you how one line spinning can give you the impression of, like, something being there. And he's like, hey, I'm just spinning lines too, brother. That spin, that's all that's there. He's ripped open his chest and said, there's only spin here. And within that, there are things you cannot see.
While we're on this page, Araki finally did it. He finally forgot to not draw Mamazuku's fingers.
Oh my god, no. Wait. No. He didn't draw them. Look on the first page where he fucking does the thing. The ends of his fingers, it kind of looks like they're just bent down, but the ends of his fingers are definitely chopped off right there. Like he shaded them in with black. It's his left hand that doesn't have the fingers. The right hand is supposed to be fine.
But he didn't. Yeah, but he didn't have anything there. There were just like little nubs.
Yeah, that is definitely more nub than he used to have.
Here the nubs are at least one joint long now.
Right. But earlier in this chapter, when he first creates the ribbon gun with his finger, when he's shooting it at da-da-da, you can see the other fingers still gone. But it does look like a little bit more. Like, it used to be cut off, like... He looked like Aphex Twin, you know, where he just had, like, a flat fucking, like, rock thing right there. You know? His hand was just totally cut off. But, you know, it is Mamazuku. He can unravel and re-ravel himself at will, so I'm pretty sure he can just, like, reallocate some ribbon from his butt cheek to have a full 2 fingers of hand again, you know? Or 2 handful of fingers. I'm pretty sure he can do that. Like...
A couple of pages before that, we do see him, like, with, like, a little bit of ribbon over his left hand while he's lying on the ground.
Yeah, right. True. I think that's after he's, like, unraveling or re-raveling his hand after using it as finger gun. But anyway.
Maybe the hole is the ribbon he took out so he could have more finger.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe the hole inside of him. That's where he's been reallocating the ribbon from. Or wait, do you think... Dude, what if this hole gets wider and Mamazuku just repairs himself? But, like, there's an even bigger hole in him than before. So, like, he's living on borrowed time. What if we get that sort of thing, and he's, like, alive for a few more chapters?
Wait a minute. Which hand is supposed to be the hand that he's missing fingers on?
Left.
Left?
Left.
Okay. Look at page... it's probably not going to be... look at page... 17, thereabouts, where he's upside down on the ceiling, and he's pointing with the ribbon gun.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That panel on the far right side of that page, that's his left hand.
Hang on a second here. The first one where he's pointing with the ribbon gun, where he says, "Don't move, Josuke"?
No, it's where he's pointing at the head doctor.
Gotcha. Using his left finger. What page? He's always using his left, man.
The left one is the one without fingers, right?
Yes, that's the one he's unraveling into ribbon gun.
Yeah, it's his left hand. Okay, so you were looking at the one where he said, "Don't move, Josuke." It's 2 pages after that.
Okay, so don't move. Well, okay, but I have 2 pages displayed at once. So then is it 1 page?
Hold on a second. I'll just post it here.
No, it's
Save you the
okay.
time.
You can guide me. The one where he shoots da-da-da and slices it in half, is it right after that?
It is already posting.
Okay. Okay, so it's this one. Yeah, he's still using his left hand there, man.
Yes, but look at the far right side. That panel shows his left hand. He's got all of his fingers.
Right, but he's raveling. You know, those fingers don't stay. You know, like, look, they're there, and then he extends. Look at the little sliver of panel in between. He extends the gun part of the finger out, and then look at the next one. There's already, like, fingers gone. So he's using that. You know, he was on the ceiling, right? He was on the ceiling, and his legs were completely unraveled. So he did the classic, like, I'm just gonna reassume my body form, you know, and he went shoop, 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 and then, you know, he got to his hand, and then he was like, oh, right, I don't have enough ribbon for this anymore. So then he made the gun and just unraveled it. But yes, you were right, he is drawing his left hand with fingers on it there. But it's in mid-ravel, so I don't even feel like that's a mistake. I feel like that's intention.
I don't know. It like cause it's not even like it would be one thing if he was just unraveling and re-raveling onto like the index finger, but it's also the other three fingers on that hand as well, and those aren't even shown being raveled.
Yeah, true. I mean, I don't know why he chose to draw it, but I mean, like, the panel directly before showing Mamazuku's hand, the one where he's on the ceiling, it's completely unraveled, like it's just ribbon. And then he chooses to show him, like, gathering it into the finger gun. I don't know why he chose to draw the fingers there, but, like, the panel directly afterward, they're gone. So it can't have been a mistake. You know, it's on the same goddamn page. Like, he knows which hand he's using for the gun. I don't know why he did it. I don't know the logic behind it, but I don't think it was in error. Anyways, great fucking chapter, though. I was so ecstatic when Mamazuku one-shotted do-do-do-do-da-da-da. I was actually talking to my mom.
You mean
Go ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
What were you gonna say?
Oh, you said did do do da da da, but it's actually just do 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 did da 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 now.
I guess so, but then why can't I still call it the thing that it was in its first appearance?
The first day is gone.
I'm going back to check.
In this chapter, it's just called da da da.
Yeah, that's true.
Every chapter, the name gets shorter.
Yeah, first you will have
Next
to deal
chapter
with this lone rock insect, de doo 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 de da da da. So I'm still gonna call it the thing from the first chapter. Oh, also, have you noticed the
Then follow. But then following that, the following chapter was just called do 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 de da da da, and then this chapter it's just called da da da. The next chapter it'll just be da.
Have you noticed that the sun things around the head doctor's eyes are gone? Look.
Oh.
Look at this.
Oh.
Look the fuck at this. Give me 1 sec. I'm giving it to you, but I gotta. Where is
I
it?
hope that's not the new permanent design, because I actually really like the sun parts. It also allowed for that good shot with the half head doctor, half stand face.
Right.
Where his monocle was had the sun part around it.
All right, but you remember go back 2 chapters and you can see him with the sun around his eyes. You know what he looks like. I don't need to send you a screenshot. But isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? And also his mouth thing used to be closer together. He used to have like the 4 lines on his face, and it was like 1, and then 2, 3, and then 4. You know, there was a space. Now it's like 4 lines that are equidistant. He sort of looks more like a robot now. But that's actually really good. I like how his design is like progressing. Oh man, fucking last chapter, he only had 3 lines on his face. That's so crazy. Like, literally, they keep tweaking him slightly.
Last chapter, he also didn't. Last chapter, he also didn't have the sun eyes.
Right. Let me go one before. So Jojolion 98 is the last time he had the sun around his eyes. Well, cool. Anyways, let me real quick I'm gonna open up my notes because I took notes on this chapter. Yeah, no, one of my notes was, has anyone ever tried to pop Josuke's bubbles before? Which I think is no, is the answer.
In this chapter, he does have like the 3 lines on his face.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I was mistaken. I thought it was I thought that bottom one was a 4th line, but it's not. It's just like a chin section. But now it's 3 lines and they're equidistant, and I feel like he looks more robot-y, less like crazy fucking, I don't know. But it's like the juxtaposition of like the just mechanical robot face with a bowler hat and a scarf and a fucking suit jacket and a cane. I love it. I never thought I'd be such a big fan of the head doctor. That is the wonder of you. I have a meme to share with you. I have to go find it, but, you know.
Day 36. The humans have still not realized I must stand.
You don't need to read the first one. You'll understand what it is as soon as I send it. But definitely read the second one. Read it out loud.
You want me to add the emojis in as well?
No, just use them as a guide mark for your intonation.
So personally, this is the first time this has happened, so I'm a bit surprised. Only a centimeter away. I mean, I don't think there's ever been someone who's gotten that close to me without a, calamity occurring. I'm not really sure what happens at 1 centimeter away because it's my first time. I don't really understand it either, seriously. But in the flow of calamity, there's nobody who can attack me. Not a single person. That I know for sure. Wonder of you.
I love it. I love it so much. He just talks in little sentence fragments. There's nobody who can attack me. Not a single person. That I know for sure. Wonder of you. It's beautiful. Anyways, do we have anything else to gab about in this chapter?
Let me. Oh shit! My Firefox crashed again.
Oh Christ.
I don't think we have anything else to discuss. I don't have any more talking points on mine.
Mm-hmm.
Uh.
Do you think Mamazuku's really dead?
Fuck. This time, yeah. You got the backstory drop and everything.
Yeah. I'm pretty confident about that. He'll live just a little bit longer. He'll say a few more words to Josuke.
This very much parallels like every Jobro dying in the series.
Yeah.
Like they get their backstory drop, they say something to inspire the JoJo of the series. They give them their power if they have it and can transfer it, and then they die.
Who never got a backstory drop? Avdol. We've never seen like young Avdol, or like what he was as a child, and like why he is the way he is.
I was gonna say Zeppeli, William A. Zeppeli.
Baron Zeppeli, yeah. Well, they do sort of give him a backstory in that they say he has no family or children, and then they retcon it. So it's like the only filling in of his backstory that ever got done was immediately erased. But yeah. Hey, speaking of Zeppeli, Do you want to?
The only backstory I think the only backstory he gets is that he trained with the Haman users
Right.
in Asia, and it was just
It was just a grand
like
old time.
just the one. It was just like the one flashback, and that's the depth of his backstory.
Yeah. Well, dude, do you want to go through real quick and name the Zeppeli of each part? Obviously, we've got Baron Zeppeli from part 1. We've got Caesar Zeppeli from part 2.
Yeah,
3 is Caculing,
yeah.
right?
Kept going. Yep.
Caculing Zeppeli. 4.
Four does four doesn't really have a Zeppeli
4 is
because
difficult to decide. We have some debating to do on this one. Because you have the one who actually dies, Shigechi, he's a candidate. Then you have
yeah.
Koichi, is a candidate.
Shigechi does actually help out before his death
Uh-huh.
because he gives them the button,
Yeah, he has the
which
most
allows them to
Zeppeli
find.
story presence. Like he's a friend, but like much like Caesar and JoJo, they're not like super good friends, but they sort of work together. They have somewhat of a rocky relationship,
He,
but then when they
he doesn't
die,
get the he doesn't
it's
get the
tragic.
backstory drop though.
Yeah,
He doesn't get the backstory drop though, and he's not an active participant in most of the story.
right. But he does the Zeppeli thing, which is why he's in the running. Who else? Probably Koichi, maybe. Koichi is probably the second, the deuteragonist of part 4. If you really think about it, he
Koichi is like Koichi is I wouldn't say is the Zeppeli because in each part the Zeppeli is usually the one who explains what stands are to the parts JoJo.
hmm.
Or not stands, but like whatever the mechanic is, the weird supernatural mechanic. So
But do they
Haman
have to be a
for the
mentor
first two
character?
parts. They don't have to be, but they usually are. Like you had
Like
William
part
Zeppeli in the
6,
first part
part 6,
explaining Haman.
part 6, I would say Foo Fighters is the Zeppeli. But she's not a mentor character at all. If anything, Jolene mentors her. Like at being a human and being in society and stuff.
Koichi is like a weird thing because like it's the first time we've seen like somebody acquiring these powers for the first time.
Right. That's why part 4 is so good, man. I mean, like, 3 sort of just throws you right into it. And then 4 is like, hey, here's where stands come from. Here's what it would be like if you got one for the first time. It's pretty cool like that.
But like I said, usually a Zeppeli is a mentor. Like Gyro in part 7
Absolutely.
teaches Johnny about the spin.
And you know what? Mamazuku in part 8, of course. He doesn't teach Josuke how to use his stand, but he is, like, smarter and more knowledgeable about, like, the quest. He's the fruit examiner man.
And he's teaching Josuke about the spin.
Yes, very true. That's the second thing I was going to get to. He's sort of like a mentor character in abilities and also just like smartness and awareness and probabilities.
Okay, seriously, what the hell? This is the third. The third time my Firefox has crashed. I'm just gonna leave it closed because
Sure.
I don't need to see anything anymore.
But like, listen to this. Fucking No, what was I gonna say? No. Oh, it just left me. It was quite smart.
Okay, so you
oh,
got
Mamazuku,
so you got
Mamazuku,
William
Mamazuku,
Zeppeli.
Mamazuku, Mamazuku, Mamazuku. Hasn't it been strange that Mamazuku doesn't do probabilities anymore? Do you remember when he first showed up? And he was like, there's a 67.2% chance we'll survive this encounter, but it'll go up to 72 if we get on solid land. And Yasuo was like, how do you calculate those probabilities? And he's like, you don't need to know that. Just never doubt them. They abandoned that like instantly.
Yeah, they did. Because I didn't even remember that.
I remembered that. He hijacks a bus and says the probability of various things happening, and then he takes them to the chairlift and he feeds them food from his delicious chairlift kitchen. He was a really quirky and funny character. He kind of got more normal over time. Well, no, that's not true. Because he still he was like peak Mamazuku weirdness in the cell with the guy before he stabbed himself. That was pretty good too.
So part 5 has an interesting
Oh
Zeppeli
yeah, I'm sorry,
candidate.
I'm way off track. Who did we choose for part 4?
For part 4, we didn't choose.
There's not
because
one? We're
our
skipping
candidates
it?
were pretty much.
Yeah, I guess so. Well,
Shigechi's probably the closest.
I guess so. Shigechi's probably the closest. Part 5. I'm gonna say Bruno.
For part 5,
Bruno
I'm gonna say
Bucciarati.
Polnareff.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah, he teaches them about the arrow. He fights the main villain and dies, but not really. He's a mentor character of sorts.
I'm gonna have to insist upon Bruno for this one because it's exactly like Gyro and Johnny from Part 7. He's a Zeppeli in that way. Not necessarily, he doesn't know more about Giorno's stand than him, but he knows more about everything else, like the gang world and like what the plan is and like how to execute it. He's the leader, and Giorno is only able to like step up and be the leader himself once Bucci dies. You know? Fucking his death motivates him to move forward. Polnareff's death isn't significant to Giorno. It's just like, oh, that guy who showed up to help us isn't here now. Shit. Oh, just kidding. Yes, he is. He's a turtle.
Yeah.
You know? I think Bucciarati is the
Okay,
Zeppeli.
yeah, sure.
I mean, I don't know.
All right.
Everyone in
It's
part
a
5 can be a
stronger
Zeppeli.
candidate, but it's a stronger candidate. But I wanted to point out that Polnareff is a candidate.
He is a candidate. You were right about that one. His candidacy is probably about as strong as Shigechi's. And we gave it to Shigechi, so that's a valid pick. In part 6, I'm going to say Foo Fighters. Not a Zeppeli in the sense of like being a mentor character, but definitely like someone who becomes friends with the protagonist and like is good buddies with them, and they like really get invested on going on this quest together, and then they get an early death, and their final act is like trying to help the hero in any way they can with their last breath. You know? That's Zeppeli shit.
Fighters is the stronger candidate, but she doesn't have the mentor thing going on,
That's
and
true.
she doesn't really contribute any knowledge about like stands or whatever.
True.
So I would also put Jotaro in the running.
Oh, wow. That's really sad. You're right. Yeah. Well, because Jotaro, you know, at the end of part 6, everybody dies. But Jotaro is the first to die, I'm pretty sure, right? Jotaro is the first one who gets sliced the fuck open by Maiden Heaven.
And if mentorship is a quality that we have to consider when choosing the Zeppeli of each part, actually we should go back to part 3 and say that Joseph is a candidate for the Zeppeli of that part.
Yeah.
He teaches Jotaro about stands.
True. But
And
I feel like dying is more
Zeppeli,
important.
he did die.
No,
Like Baron Zeppeli, also he was. Shut up.
No,
like Baron
you know
Zeppeli,
what?
he was also.
I
he was
at
also
you, but I
the,
retracted it. He does die.
He was also like Baron Zeppeli, he was also the leader of the Joestar group for that part.
Right. I love that when the leader of the Joestar group is somebody who's not a Joestar, like in part 5, in part 7.
But Joseph is a Joestar.
Oh no, I know. You were saying Will Zeppeli led the fucking Joestar group.
Oh yeah, okay.
So I was saying that, part 5 and part 7. Yeah.
Part 2 is no, because Lisa is a Joestar.
Yeah, yes she is, Elizabeth Joestar. So yeah, I think we've got it. I think we got it nailed down. We've got fucking parts 1 and 2, self-explanatory. They have a genuine Zeppeli in. Part 3, you could say that it's either Kakyoin for a more Caesar or flavored Zeppeli, or Joseph for a more Will flavor. Part 4, probably Shigechi. Part 5, definitely Bruno Booch. Part 6, you could make a case for either Foo Fighters
Or possibly Polnareff.
Foo Fighters for a Caesar flavor, and Jotaro for a Will flavor. Also potentially Polnareff from Part 5. Part 7, easy Gyro. Part 8, easy Mamazuku. That's it. That's the Zeppeli from every part. We done did it. We done cataloged them all for future generations' information.
And it didn't take us 2 hours of discussion this time.
Nope. Do you want to have a best JoJo discussion right now?
Not really.
All right. Well,
I kind of just want to end this episode.
And have it be a damn
edited.
short one.
I like these short episodes.
Oh
They're
no, I wasn't saying
they're
that
fun to do.
negatively.
No, we don't. We don't lose our way and start rambling as much in these short episodes.
True. We'll do a really quick best JoJo discussion. We're just gonna say 1, 2, 3, and then say best JoJo. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Gappy.
Hold on.
What was the hold on? It was 1, 2, 3. You don't have to think. Just say what your heart feels.
I don't know.
You don't have one just in your heart?
Well, because when you said best JoJo, I didn't know if you meant like the best JoJo part or the best JoJo character.
Oh, I meant best main JoJo. Best character. Best main protagonist of a part.
Okay. In that case, probably,
Wow, this is a lot harder for you than it was for me. I'm so sorry. I had my answer preloaded.
It's hard. They're all so good.
Are they? Some of them are better than others, though.
Not all of them. Okay, not all of them. They're not all so good. God.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
Josuke Higashikata.
Which one?
Of Part 4.
Okay, fair play. Why do you say Josuke Higashikata from Part 4? Good choice, but elaborate.
I don't know. It was a toss-up between him and Joseph.
Fair play. I really like Joseph. Joseph is probably in my top 3. I love that we see him in more different stages of his life than any other character in the series. So you get to see baby Joseph in Erina's arms, and then you get to see fucking teen Joseph taking out those dudes on the plane, and then you get to see like 17-year-old Joseph in New York when he meets Smokey, and then all the events of Part 2. And you get to see like 50 or 60-year-old Joseph in Part 3, and you get to see like 80 or 90-year-old Joseph in Part 4. That's like 5 different stages of life. Guaranteed one of them is just a picture of him as a baby.
Joseph feels like he is the JoJo. He is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is Joseph.
Right.
His
I
Bizarre
was
Adventure.
just fucking having a poll on Twitter about this the other day. I said, who is the main character of the original JoJo's universe? And I put up Joseph Jotaro. And literally my poll got 6 votes, 3 for each. And I was like, fuck you guys. You always do this. But yeah, I think there's a strong case to be made for Joseph. Because, you know, like, Joseph is there for all of the most important goings-on, except for the stuff at the end he's dead for, you know?
Joseph Joestar is like the Luke Skywalker of the first 3 parts.
I cannot agree more.
Like, okay, Part 2 is the original trilogy. It is his story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Part 1 is the prequels. He's not there, but, you know, it's explaining backstory that will be important later.
Right. Well, parts 2, 3, and 4 really are the Joseph Joestar trilogy. Because he's very important in all 3.
Part Okay, well, parts 3 and 4 then are the new trilogy, the sequel trilogy, because he's old and he's mentoring a new character,
Right.
a new protagonist.
I gotcha. That can be said. It's cool that both of our favorite JoJos are Josuke. It's just a different Josuke. Hmm.
Do we have anything else to talk about?
Yes, two things. Number one, on this last page here, where Mamazuku's got the donut in him, at the bottom of the page it says, "The spin of good fortune. Can it stop the flow?" And then,
It's time to play Wheel of Fortune.
that reminds me. Have you ever seen Hamonpoli?
Monpoli?
Hamonpoli.
No, but this sounds interesting.
This is something that you know Truongasm on Twitter, a former mashup community person.
Yeah. Yeah,
She
Mom.
made this years ago. Yeah, I should have just said that, but I don't know. I went for the Twitter handle instead. Anyway, hang on one second. I have a great piece of content for you that she made years ago. Hamonpoli. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Looking through my JoJo folder.
I'm guessing it's the Monopoly Man, but like dressed up like William Zeppeli.
You're very close. You're almost right there on the money. But, you know, don't want to give it away too soon. Hamonpoli, the fist-dealing punch trading game. Play faster with Speedwagon. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Because it's the
Nice.
fast-dealing property trading game. The fist-dealing punch trading game. Yeah, anyway.
You're showing this to the peeps, right?
Oh, yes, I am. I've got to, you know, I've got to get the peeps involved.
We gotta make sure that these are visual bits, not just for us, but for the audience.
Oh, for sure. You know what? How about a totally unrelated visual bit? Do you like this image? I love it.
It's cute.
Yeah, it is. All right. Well, so there's that. There's the fucking the last two things I wanted to say were the spin of good fortune. Will it stop the flow? I think that for me confirms that Josuke's bubbles spin your attacks back at you if you hit them. You know, the lines are spinning. They rotate the direction of the attack. It also has to do with like feng shui and shit. Like the flow has been really important in Jojolion this whole time. Like, do you remember way back when Norisuke was talking about everything has a flow, and if you follow the flow, you'll achieve your goals? He was talking about the fruit parlor, but to Josuke, he was interpreting it as like finding myself.
There was one more thing that I wanted to say just about this chapter. Now that I think about
Oh,
it,
for sure.
Mamazuku's death is a lot like you remember the White Album fight and how that ended with
Right, with Giorno holding up his bloody
cutting open
arm.
his wrist so that he could spray the blood on the ice crystals so that Mista would know where to shoot.
Right.
It reminds me of that, you know.
Yeah. This
The
pose of
light,
Mamazuku.
the light is shining on the light is shining on the way that'll lead us to victory or whatever.
Right.
Whatever
right,
you said.
Right. And then there's the morning sun rising behind him. This Mamazuku ripping his shirt open and exposing his donutted chest is like, oh, hey, you know what? I think he had that. Did a soap bubble give him that? I don't know.
C1 hit him in the torso.
I didn't see one either. And wouldn't his shirt be broken? Like, did it go in through the back and just leave?
Yeah, it would.
I don't know.
Yeah, it would.
But anyways, the point is, this Mamazuku lying on the ground, dramatically ripping open his shirt, is somewhat similar to Giorno kneeling down, thrusting his arm up in the air and spraying blood everywhere. I see what you're saying. Cinematic parallels. Cinematic parallels. But yeah.
That's really what like these last couple of chapters have all been about, like parallels with earlier parts. Because remember, last episode we talked about how like the previous chapter was had shout outs to like part 3, part 6.
Yeah.
Big shout outs to part 7.
Definitely.
The stone mask was visible at one point.
Yes, it fucking was. It was pretty crazy. I'm gonna show the people this image here. Dio, my stand can stop time. Kira, my stand can blow things up sometimes so hard it rewinds time. Diavolo, my stand can erase time. Pucci, a fast forward reality. Valentine, many realities. Toru, Grandpa Beam, puts on headphones. I just wanted to share that with the people. Because I also wanted to mention, I think that, speaking of references to previous parts, this bit, like a couple chapters ago, where Toru is putting on the headphones and just dancing while Yasuo is dying and being killed, that's the new torture dance from this part, you know?
People die when they are killed, Zach.
Yeah, Yasuo is dying from being killed. But no, yeah, he puts on the headphones and he does a little dance. That's the new torture dance, man. That's the part 8 torture dance. That's gonna be animated. He's gonna be like jiving and grooving while Yasuo's dying.
I can't wait. I can't wait to watch that when we're both 85 and
Well,
somebody's made the somebody's made the edit where it's you reposted in the wrong neighborhood
oh boy,
to that dance.
That meme will not die by the time we're fucking that old, dude. What was I gonna say? How many years older than me are you? How old are you? I'm 22 right now.
I don't know. I'm like, God, how old am I? 25, I think.
Oh, I wanted you to be 26 so that, you know, when I'm 85.
I'm 26 in November.
When I'm 85 and the anime comes out, you will be 89 years old. And I'll call you up on the phone and be like, hey man, happy birthday. How old did you turn this year? And you're going to be like, 89. And I'm going to be like, are you serious? Did you say that right? You didn't make a mistake? 89 years old? Really? I'm having trouble wrapping my mind around that. 89 years old. And that'll be the whole conversation for just hours.
I hope I'm that lucid when I'm 89. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Do you think you're even gonna like be
Getting
an old person?
Not for sissies.
I feel like I'm gonna die accidentally or something before I get that old, you know? I can't imagine myself being like 80. I feel like something's gonna happen.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna have a coronary in my 50s. Dude, I'm gonna have a coronary in my 50s. I'm so fucking overweight.
I'm gonna fall off a bridge or something because I'm just stupid. I'm not like unhealthy, I just make mistakes. But you know what? I'll have to postpone making death-worthy mistakes until the Jojolion anime comes out. That's what I'm living for. Some people want to live long enough to fuck robots. We don't have time to die.
We gotta watch the Jojolion episode.
Yeah,
we gotta watch the Jojolion anime.
But you know, my reason to live, being a new chapter of Jojolion every month, is in jeopardy now, because right there below the spin of good fortune, can it stop the flow? It fucking says, this series will be on hiatus next issue. This series will resume in the Ultra Jump November issue, going on sale October 18th or 17th. So
local man literally too obsessed with Jojolion to die.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's going to be a fat 2 months before we get to see what happens next.
They're putting you in the coffin and you reach out and choke them and get up from the coffin.
Literally too angry and too invested in Jojolion to die. Too invested in Jojolion to be killed. If you shot me, I would be like, ow, thanks, dick. And I wouldn't even die, though. Because I need to live to see what happens in Jojolion. Oh, hey, Chris, did I tell you about this? I am purchasing.
About what?
I'm purchasing a cosplay of Josuke from Part 8.
Ooh, you are you?
I am. I
Of
legitimately
Josuke from Part 8.
of Josuke from Part 8. Yes. I already have like white pants and I already have a little thin green belt that I bought from fucking like Goodwill for like $2. But I am getting the top, like the sailor shirt with the long sleeves, the top and the hat made by like a person on the internet. And she does good work. A long time ago I saw like photos of a Giorno that she had made and I was like, "Whoa, holy fuck." Like that looks amazing. Like the material and like the fucking all the little like bits on it, none of it looked like shit, you know? None of it was like falling apart. I was like, "Wow, that looks like an actual like making that into a wearable outfit that's not flimsy." And so I messaged her and I was like, "Hey, have you ever done Josuke 8 before? Like, what's the price on that? You know, if you were to price that out." And she told me, and I was like, "Okay, fuck yeah." There's no conventions this year, but that'll just be in my arsenal. And chiefly, when we eventually do meet up to do the live version of the Locacacast with my camera and shit for the final episode.
Which hopefully the world won't have ended when the time comes for that.
Well, dude, fucking even if the world has ended, we're not gonna need a whole like crew and fucking catering department. We can just fucking hang out, you and me, camera. We got this shit. Also, like I just drove.
Post-apocalyptic Locacacast.
Man, that actually reminds me. Have I
We're
ever
just,
told you
we're
about
just
my?
Mad Maxing it up in here.
Yeah. Have I ever told you about my favorite podcast, Noxcast Radio? The one where they opened the fortune cookie and it said there is no substitute for a genuine lack of preparation.
Yeah, you told me about this, I think, last episode. Or the
Yeah.
episode before.
It's my favorite podcast of all time, and sort of the gimmick is that it's like really terrible. You know, Jason, this quote that I love from him, where he's like, "Yeah, people always people leave a comment saying, 'Oh man, I love the show, but man, this episode was just really bad. It was really boring. Please, I can't wait to get back to the good episodes.' But the thing is, people leave that comment every week, so I don't know what the good episodes are that you guys are talking about. This is what the show is." But anyways, every 10 episodes.
The problem is we're a content dependent podcast. You know,
Yeah.
our release schedule depends on Iraqi putting out a new chapter of Jojolion. So what happens when the world ends? There's no more Jojolion.
Right. Well, you know, in his little author's note from a couple months ago, he said, "Don't worry about me. You know, manga artists are one of the careers that can continue as usual, even though all of this stuff is happening." You know, he was saying like, "Everybody stay
too
home."
dedicated to writing Jojolion to die.
Yeah, he's just like, "Everybody stay home. And don't worry about me because I'm just staying inside drawing like usual." So Araki-san is staying safe.
You just hear noises coming from Iraqi's coffin, and you open up the lid, and he's just in there drawing Jojolion.
But the thing I wanted to say about Noxcast Radio was that what made the show really special is that every 10 episodes they would do an episode entirely like in character. And the character would change, you know, like they would come up with a new thing. But like, you know, the show's going on normal, and then the 10th episode, they're in a cave and they're recording on like different equipment and their voices are really echoey and there's like water drops in the background. And Jason's like, well, for those of you just tuning in, as I'm sure you're aware, the United States has endured a nuclear blast. And they're doing it like post-apocalyptic, like Robert and I both fled across the country, and now everything is destroyed, and we're just doing the podcast from like the ruins. And he's like, "Robert, what did you bring with you?" And he's like, "Well, I brought my collection of ballpoint pens. Maybe we could do like a puppet show with ballpoint pens for like for the mutated people, you know? The different ballpoint pens would be different characters, and we could give them different voices." And Jason's like, "Yeah, that's a good idea. We should do that, Robert. We could maybe trade some of that entertainment value for food if we get hungry." Anyway, but like every 10 episodes they would have a different gimmick. There was one where they went underground into like this whole they climbed into Robert's laundry machine and they ended up in Socktopia, which is a world exclusively made of socks. That was a 3-parter episode. But it was like they obviously didn't really go to Socktopia. Socktopia doesn't exist. They were just improvising it. They just were making it up as they went along. Like, they had a premise, and they were like, we're just gonna riff on this and just progress it as far as possible. So yeah, that's what I really loved about that podcast. Is that every once in a while they would just go crazy and have an episode that was like not even a podcast, like it was an episode of a show or something. Sometimes they would go back to an in character episode they did before and like do more, like progress that story. It was pretty great. I'm now done talking about Knoxcast.
I don't know if we're ever gonna be able to do anything like that on this show.
No, I don't think so. But you mentioning that, like, if the world truly does end, we can just do a post-apocalypse podcast, instantly made me think of Knoxcast episode 10. This is a fucking classic.
But who's gonna listen to it, Zach? There's no more internet. All the
No.
all the Wi-Fi towers are down.
Yeah, I don't think they ever covered that. But at the end of their show, they did something really amazing and meta. On the first episode, they read Hamlet for some reason. I have no idea why they did that. But they had the script from Shakespeare's Hamlet, and they were just reading from it and doing various silly voices and saying the names wrong. And it was kind of the worst episode ever. And the second episode, they were like, yeah, we're really sorry. We thought that was going to be funny, but it wasn't. It was just like really long and annoying and boring. So we'll never do that again. And then they ended the show at episode 75. And on episode 75, they were kidnapped in like a space prison, and their captor came to talk to them, and it was William Shakespeare, who had like heard the episode across time and space, and it sucked so bad it ripped open an interdimensional portal and brought him here to modern times to exact his revenge on Jason and Robert. And it was pretty great also, because the episode starts and Jason's like, we've been imprisoned in space prison for 2 years now. So it's implying that like all of the content that real life Robert and Jason have released for the past 2 years has been like from their body doubles, like fake versions of them that Shakespeare created. And Robert actually made a new website in this time.
This sounds like a radio serial, honestly.
Robert made a new website in this time, in real life, and he was about to release a movie in real life. And Robert on the podcast kills fake Robert and is like, wow, this is pretty great. He made me a whole new website. I've got a whole movie I can just release. I didn't even have to work on. I just got to print the DVDs for it. Basically, this is great. And Jason's like, my guy didn't make anything. You just fucked around. It was awesome. It's one of my favorites. But yeah, it could be reformatted into like a really entertaining radio serial. But it was more like a ton of just like podcast gobbledygook, just like very chill, laid back ramblings between friends. And then like every 10 episodes they would have like plot. I don't want us to like be like that. That's just like my favorite podcast ever. We're doing our own thing over here.
Yeah, we're a goal-oriented podcast. Our goal is just to cover the chapter for the month, and then like anything else we do is just like a bonus on top.
Right. Our goal is to cover the chapter and have fun, essentially. Like, I do this not for the views, not for any other reason than it's enjoyable, you know? I have a good time talking about Jojolion once a month.
I do it for the views.
How many views do we get on our videos usually?
I love the views. Please watch the podcast. I need your views.
I really want to do a thing, actually, where I go through and I take, like, a funny segment from the Locacacast and I upload it on my main channel and be like, hey, I'm alive, you know, I do JoJo podcast every month. Come listen to it. But, I feel like that wouldn't really be successful.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. You can, like, cut the promos for the podcast.
Yeah. I mean, I would be exposing it to a larger audience. But anytime I think about, like, starting my channel back up and doing something with it, I think it would be kind of a betrayal to, like, come back just with that, you know? I feel like I should have more. I feel like if I'm going to do that, then I should also, like, post a mashup at the same time or something. Well, anyways, food for thought. Is there anything else you wanted to cover on the podcast? Predictions? You got any?
let's do predictions real quick.
Yeah,
Probably a good
we
idea to do
actually have been
predictions.
forgetting to do predictions. We've been forgetting to do predictions because we've been right about stuff. What we think is going to happen is happening.
I still predict at some point, Josuke is going to use the bubble to remove the asbestos from his body. Or actually, wait.
I think
Hasn't
the
the
asbestos
asbestos
is
issue already
gone
been
now.
solved?
Yeah, that's completely gone. So
That's
I guess
too
he just
bad.
didn't do it.
Well, that's one prediction that was wrong. Let's see. More predictions. Do you have any predictions first? I can think about mine while you're saying yours.
Yeah, yes, I do. I have a couple of them. Oh man, you know what? I'm sorry to keep the podcast going on longer and longer and longer, but I need to open up that text document. You know the one? Shoes yet to drop in Jojolion?
Yeah, I know the one.
I'm gonna open it up.
Let's do it.
I mean, it shouldn't take too long, but yeah, here we go. So, dun, 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 dun. Okay, sick. So here we go. So as for predictions, I still am pretty sure Joshu is gonna have some fruit in his pockets, you know, and he's gonna sort of go around and do a quick group heal. Jobin needs healing, Yasuo needs healing, Tsurugi needs healing. And there are 4 fruits, but one of them is probably too small. So I don't know the order, but you know, the fact that we saw 4 fruits on the tree distinctly, and like one of them was off the branch, and now there's only 2, I'm extremely sure that means somebody snagged those fruits. Might not even be Joshu.
I'm gonna do a swing for the fences prediction right now. I predict that Kyo Nichimura will be in chapter 112.
112? Wow, okay. I mean, sure. But I wonder why she's not already involved at that plot in the house, you know? Theoretically, she should be there.
I'm giving her time to show up. I'm giving her like 1 chapter's worth grace period to show up.
Wait, you said 112. That's 11 chapters of grace period. We're at 100.
Oh, shit, right. Okay, 102. Sorry, I can't count. I
Oh.
thought we were at 110 for some reason.
No way, not yet. But yeah, okay. So you're predicting Kyo in chapter 102. Fair play. I will accept this prediction and I will log it. Sorry, I was reading the text here. So, either Kato or Joshu is going to appear and heal Jobin in an antithesis and parallel to the fucking... I'm just regurgitating the comment of that guy from a while ago. But he was right. That should happen. Kato should show up and fucking heal Jobin with the fruit as an opposite, reverse, inverse parallel to Holly healing Josuke with the fruit juice. That's a prediction. My other prediction is that Mamazuku is going to like say a few more words to Josuke, and then he's gonna get calamitied. Like something's gonna fall over and squish his head. You know? Like something extra bad is going to happen to him that makes him like dead for real, for real.
2, I would like to revoke and invert one of my earlier predictions.
Mm-hmm.
I am now predicting that Joshu will survive this part.
Well, you know what? If Josuke dies, Joshu and Yasuo will end up together. And if Joshu dies, Josuke and Yasuo will end up together. That's 100% certain. Because think about this. If Joshu ends up like healing her and saving the day, and Josuke is dead, we are definitely gonna get like, and then down the line, Yasuo and fucking, you know, it's the only one left she could end up with. It's Toru's dead, fucking Josuke's dead, but I don't want that to happen. So I kind of want Joshu to heal her, but then fail to protect her and get himself killed, you know? Or actually, no, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't.
I don't think it's a prediction that I really need to say, but like, you know, I am fully confident that both Josuke and Yasuo will survive this part.
I'm actually not. I mean, I would love them to, but like, it's possible this is gonna end like Jonathan Joestar and Erina, you know? It's possible. It really is. Like, that scares me. The idea that at the end of the story, it's going to be like, and then Josuke was killed, but it's okay. Like, Araki likes to do that.
The problem I have with that is I believe Araki already has plans for part 9. So Josuke has to survive by default.
What? No, he doesn't. The next part can happen where the main JoJo died.
He's the only living member of the Joestar bloodline at the time, as of now.
At the present time, well, we do have Kyo Nijimura. And
we do have Kyo.
We do have whoever Josefumi's parents are. Whoever Josefumi's parents is.
Yeah.
But yeah. That's correct, actually. Actually. I'm just going to keep going up in octaves as it makes more and more sense to me. That does make total sense, because there can't be a part 9 without the continuation of the Joestar bloodline. But this does mean that Josuke could die, and that Kyo could continue it. But I don't know about that. I don't know that that's satisfying at all.
Yeah, Araki doesn't tend to kill off his protagonists all the time, though. You know?
He did that first time, and it's really set the stage. It makes you feel like the protagonists are not safe from death, even though, like, pretty much all the rest of them are.
Yeah, but let's review like the track record, right? So you had Jonathan, who died in his part, right?
Right.
You had Joseph, who survived not only his part, but the following part, the part after that, didn't appear in the 5th or 6th parts, right?
Yeah.
You have Jotaro, who survived his part, the part after that, the part after that, and then finally died in the 6th part. You have Josuke, who survived his part and didn't appear in any subsequent parts. You have Giorno, who survived his part and didn't appear in part 6. And then you have Jolene, who died in her part. So currently,
everyone died in that part.
Track record. And then you have Johnny, who survived his part and reappeared in like part 8 in a flashback. So currently the track record is good for protagonist survival through the end of a part.
Right. I've updated shoes yet to drop.txt because if you'll remember, well here's the whole thing. 1, Flashback Man. 2, Bite Marks. 3, Norisuke knows Kira, aka the dead Kira fruit seller's mark. Although I actually have that wrong. I just remembered now that's the bookseller's mark. Right? The little square thing? It's the bookseller's mark, not the fruit seller's mark. The fruit seller's mark is the little pear. Kato, Saruki cured before harvest, Daya erasing memories. The true nature of the soap bubbles. Solved. We got this one. This shoe dropped this chapter. Or at least it's in the process of dropping, and it'll drop some more next chapter. But the true nature of the soap bubbles, like that's finally come around to the forefront. We're discussing that now. So, solved. We've struck the first thing from the list. The fate of Holly, the mysterious case of the shrinking fish sausages. Why does the head doctor target young Mamazuku? Is that even a shoe yet to drop? I feel like that's not going to be explained. You know? I don't feel like we're going to get any more detail on that.
We might get a little more in the very next chapter, but if it doesn't drop that chapter, I think we can consider that shoe dropped.
Right. Because, I mean, I'm in the flashback, there wasn't really any reason the head doctor is doing this to his dad's orchard. He just is. So I don't know. Hey, maybe Mamazuku's dad was growing Locacacast, and head doctor wanted to put him out of business. What if?
Could be.
Anyway,
Could be.
So he just targeted the whole orchard, because he didn't want to fuck with it. Anyways, why does Yasuo encounter the hair clip, the King Dynasty? That one might never drop. That might just be a fucking rando shit. Is Part A pro or anti-predestination?
Yeah,
There's that. Nature of Toru and the head
that
doctor's relationship.
one's ongoing.
Yeah. Nature of Toru and head doctor's relationship is also ongoing. The true form of the head doctor, is he a rock human? Is he a stand? Well, we know now he's not a rock human. He is a stand that assumes the form of a person.
Okay, was that confirmed explicitly in this chapter?
Well, he's not a rock human. I mean, look at him. Rock humans don't.
I can't.
Don't
I need to open up. We need to open up Firefox again.
Okay, no, don't look at him. Never mind. It's not important. But I don't know. That's just what the wiki says, and it makes sense to me. It hasn't been like stated outright, though. You're right. Anyway, number 15, Toru, pure rock or half rock, half human? That hasn't been answered yet. The origin of the Higashikata rock curse, and then the red herrings, the photo with Kyoni Jimura in general, and Yotsuyu Yagiyama claims to have killed Josuke before. So those are all the shoes. I have another shoe to add. Number 17. Where did the extra new Locacacasters go? Because I'm really, really expecting that to be brought up at some point. You know? He wouldn't draw 4 and then downsize it to 2 for nothing. Right? Are you with me on this? Do you feel like those other 2 fruits are going to be important? Am I the only one who thinks this?
Yeah. I think it's about like a 50-50, you know? Because sometimes he just changes his mind on like
That's true.
the design of stuff and like other things.
But I feel like it's got to be deliberate. You know what? With Iraqi, it's okay to consider it intentional until it's.
Because like we noted an example from like just this and the last chapter, where the where Wonder of You is no longer drawn with like the sun motif around its eyes.
Right. But I feel like you know, difference is the appearance of the eyes of the stand we're fighting right now is not how many of the fucking main MacGuffin of the part there are. So I've got to say, I think we should pay more attention to the minor details on that. Like I think,
yeah. Oh, there's also he has been pretty good up until now with keeping track of the fact that Mamazuku has no fingers on one hand.
Yeah, he's pretty good at keeping track of that, honestly. Like I've caught him on it a couple times before, but it's never like extremely obvious. It's always like debatable, you know?
I don't want to say 100% certainty though that those 2 fruits will re-enter the plot. I'm gonna say maybe like 90% chance that they'll re-enter the plot.
Fair.
I think that's fair.
I think that's about how much I am sure that they're gonna come back into the plot as well, because there is a healthy 10% doubt in me that just is saying, you know, he just drew it and then drew it again, and there's no meaning, you know? You always have to keep a healthy amount of doubt. You can't buy into your own theories that hard. But, like, man, I'm going to miss Mamazuku. He's a great character.
Yeah. Rip in pieces, rippin', man.
You know what's interesting about Jojolion? It's more spaced out than something like Part 5, where like all the fights happen one after the other. It's like go, 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 go. Happens over the course of like 6 days. Jojolion is much more spaced out than that. But I still feel like everything happens so fast. Everyone gets such little screen time, you know? Like, Mamazuku has been here for like how many fights? Like 4? You got Urban Gorilla and Doremi Fasolitito.
Like,
Poor Tom, which happens right the fuck after.
It's a lot like they took the pacing of Part 4 and then just removed all the downtime.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. There's almost no downtime. Like, okay, so Mamazuku's been here for Doremi Facilitito, Poor Tom, fucking... What's after Poor Tom but before Head Doctor? Nothing? Hold on, I'm tabbing around madly. Yeah, alright, so Poor Tom...
Furious typing noises.
Oh yeah, baby. Ozone, baby. Yeah, so Wu Tomaki happens right after that. And then right after that, we're already in Head Doctor. Because it's the new Locacacast. Yeah, he doesn't really participate in the Dr. Wu fight, I don't think, right? Not at all. Yeah, so basically he's just here for Doremi Facilitito, Poor Tom, and then the Head Doctor, and then he's out, you know? And that's the amount of fights that like maybe a secondary character from part 4 would get, but with no like downtime, as you said, with no like chilling out characters getting to know each other time. Like it's always we're on the mission.
There's
Go,
no
go,
like
go.
arc. There's no like arc where oh actually there is. I was just about to say there's no arc where Josuke goes to play a game against like Jobin, but then I realized there was Beetle tendency.
Yeah, there literally was, and he won the gold Lambo. By the way, that's so.
That was literally the Let's Play CeeLo of this part.
Exactly. Playing dice at the manga artist's house. But like, I love how Josuke wins the gold Lamborghini, but he doesn't have a driver's license. So it like never comes up in the story that he has it until he makes friends with Mamazuku, who drives them to TG University Hospital in the Lambo. You know, when they're pulling up out front, Mamazuku's driving it because he's like 30 years old. He's a full-grown man.
I didn't even notice that detail. Yeah.
Yeah. He literally can't use it because he doesn't have a driver's license.
It's the same Lambo, yeah.
Yeah, yes indeed. I mean, you think Mamazuku has a Lamborghini?
I don't know, he might. He's this expert plant appraiser. I don't know how much they get paid.
Yeah, who knows? But, fuck was I gonna say? Shit. Hold on.
Any other shoes?
What'd you say?
Any other shoes to drop?
Oh no, I've already closed the shoes to drop.txt. But what I was going to say was, I'm really excited for Beetle Tendency to be animated, but I'm more excited for right at the end, where he says, I've won it, the Lamborghini Gallardo, because he's going to say, Lamborghini Gallardo, and it's going to be so good. I want to hear Josuke say that in like Japanese, like tripping over all of the syllables. Gallardo. It's going to be great. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have. I'm going
any
to be...
other predictions we have?
My prediction is that I personally am going to be dead inside until this next chapter comes out. Hey, this is a cool
well,
thing.
It's okay. We'll have something to do in the meantime while we're waiting on that chapter.
I'm gonna be able to.
Because the next time we're on call, I'll be playing the Batmans, and you'll be
checking out.
You'll be on the call.
Yeah, indeed. I'm going to be watching about like 64 squares turn different colors while you're playing the video game.
We can re-examine the settings on that and see if we can't do something about the compression.
I mean, it's pretty funny looking. Like, I can hear the sound fine, so I'll probably be able to follow the story without a problem. But it's just the visuals are so garbled, dude. It's hilarious looking. But hey, hang on real quick. I have to show you this page. Do you like this or not like this when Araki does this? Look in the top right of this page here. With Mamazuku. I kind of love it. when Araki's drawing a character that is like not the focus of the shot, he sort of draws them in this like almost watercolor, like sketchy freeform brush style.
Fuck it.
Fuck it.
That's what that looks like to me. It looks like he drew like up until Mamazuku and then just went, fuck it.
Well, he has been kind of doing this the whole part. Like, if you go back to fucking way early, like, even when Josuke sees Flashback Man, he is in sort of like distant watercolor. You know? Like, he's not fully colored in. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna find the panel.
Flashback Man is also like background Skyhead Man. So, like, you know, it works for him. Here, he's right in the foreground. So...
Yeah, I mean, but it's sometimes like just the character who is not the focus of the shot will get like that, you know? Like somebody who's just standing off to the side.
Shading up in here, fam? Can I get some fucking shading up in here, fam?
Please. Hang on one sec. I'm gonna find an earlier example for you.
The tabbing noises, they return.
Oh yes, they do. I'm pretty sure... Alright, I'm gonna go forward to Yotsuyu Yakiyama, because, you know, that's where it's at. Oh yeah, right here. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Fuck. I was searching so long for, like, an earlier example of him doing this. Sick. Here we go. I'm sending it to you. Here it is. Look at that. You know, like the focal point is the background. Josuke is like in the foreground, you know? So he draws him real sketchy. This is a great example of it. I really like this one.
It definitely looks a lot. It's definitely a lot less distracting when it's in color.
Yeah. In black and white, it sort of
like,
is like, hey, I've drawn the vague outline of a character here. Don't even look at that. You know, just like let your eyes glaze over that. Let that be the empty space. Let that be the visual noise. And let everything else be the focus of the image. He's directing your eye when he does that.
Like in black and white, it's just in black and white, it's just like so high contrast that it ironically draws your eye in, and you focus on like this, and you're like, why did Araki even bother drawing this?
Yeah, that is true. It's possible that it has the inverse effect, but I don't know. I like it. I'm down with it when I see it. But
this is like one of those things that I would say is definitely like just wait for the color panels, you know.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's why I stopped reading Jojolion for a while, because I got to the part where it was already in black and white, like around right here where Norisuke and Josuke go into the garden. It stopped being in color when I started reading it in like 2015, 2016.
Well, there's also a separate problem with like the black and white, which is like it's hard to tell what's going on in a scene when like there's no color.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like that's gotten easier for me over time as I've like gotten more used to it. But it definitely is a lot less readable. You know, it's harder to instantly identify the action and the direction, unless, you know, there's a lot of thought put into, you know, how the eye is going to follow the image and what it's conveying and like the fucking contrast and everything, which Araki does put in, but it's also his really flamboyant posing and his weird like angles and his weird everything that sort of muddies it up. The artwork is beautiful, but sometimes it's not super readable in black and white. One thing that Josuke used to do that I miss is when he would say, "I'm going to say this amply." Do you remember that?
I remember that vaguely. Yeah.
Did you kill Yoshikage
I didn't
Akira?
remember.
I'm going to say it again.
I didn't remember
Amply. You killed Yoshikage Kira, didn't you? And then he says the same thing in Shakedown Road. He's like, I've won. No, I'm going to say it again, amply this time. I am so waiting for him to do that just one more time. You know? Because that's like a quirk of his character.
It's like his catchphrase.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's like Jotaro has his yare yare daze.
Josuke 4 has Gureto. And Josuke 8 has Ampu.
And
because on the next page,
Giorno of course has a dream.
Yeah, yes he does. He's on the next page. Norisuke says, "No, I did not kill Kira, and I've got 3 reasons. I've got 3 answers for that one question. Listen closely." And Josuke says, "I have time. I have ample time." So ample for him is the same as great for Josuke 4. Pretty cool. Yeah, everything's fixed. But I'm pretty sure.
You want to just so that we have a higher quality. Just repeat what you just said. Would be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I've said it like 3 or 4 times now. Cut them all out except this one. Wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be cool if, when the Part 8 anime rolls around, and they do like the flashback, you know, they cast voice roles for Kira and Josefumi. Maybe not with Kira, because it probably wouldn't fit. But with Josefumi, wouldn't it be cool if they got the voice actor for Part 4 Josuke to come back and do the voice for Josefumi? You know, Pompadour Boy to Pompadour Boy, same voice. I feel like his voice actor would be really good.
I think potentially, yes. I personally would like to. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Josuke 4 actually voicing Josefumi. Because I don't know if like there would be like a. I don't know if like they have like something in mind already that might be much better.
Maybe.
But we'll see.
But in the same way that like Josuke Higashikata from Part 8 is written with different kanji than Josuke from Part 4, you know, the Josuke is different, which is why they write Josuke with a U for Part 8 guy. The Joe in Josefumi is the same Joe as the Joe in Josuke 4, whereas 8 is a new one. So it's like this version of Josuke is corrupted and, you know, like shifted and changed. He's merged with somebody else. But this sort of is the direct equivalent of Josuke.
I think it also depends on how long it takes for us to get the Part 8 anime, because as you mentioned before, it might be a little too. You might be a little too old.
He might be very old by the time they animate Part 8. Yeah. Who knows, man? You know who they should get to do Kira? Daisuke Ono, Jotaro's voice actor. Because, like, think about this. Every other voice you're going to hear in Part 8 is completely new. You know? They're all a new voice cast. There's no recurring characters from Part 7. The flashback of the 2 people who merged into Josuke, both being voiced by, like, original universe characters, that would be pretty cool. I would pop right off at that. It would be a neat little nod.
Just to get Part 8, and
What'd you say?
Is still young enough to Kira.
Yeah. How old is Daisuke Ono right now? I mean, he's pretty good at doing that one voice, but, like, eventually he's gonna sound like an old man.
Hold on, let me...
Oh my god, he was born in 1978?
Already got it.
He's 42. Incredible. Yeah, that's crazy as hell.
Yeah.
All right.
How old is Dio's? How old is Dio's voice actor?
Takahito Koyasu. I will look it up. Oh my god, he's born in 1967. He's 53. But like, look at him. He never ages. Japanese people don't age.
Freaking Japanese people, am I right?
Yeah, it's all the rice and
Country
steamed
of-
vegetables,
country-
dude.
Country of immortals over here.
Oh, dude. Koyasu is known for his deep, smooth voice, which often lands him in roles that are either villains or sex icons. That's hilarious. What a
I mean,
what an
not wrong.
incredible.
They're not wrong.
He's pigeonholed. What an incredible typecast.
Although I should say it should be villains and or sex icons.
That's true. It should be and/or, definitely. But hey, you know, I think
You can't tell me Dio's not a sex icon.
no, dude, fucking Dio was voted sexiest man alive 1889. And then he was voted sexiest man alive for the 100 years after that, consecutively. You know, because he was still alive, and he looked the same. So nobody had beaten him yet. Anyways, you know, I think that's it for the podcast. I think we said all we were gonna say, you know.
All right. Are we ready to wrap up here?
Yeah.
No more predictions?
I think we're there. I think we're to the no more predictions part.
All right. Well, the next time you hear my voice, it'll be coming out of a Batman-shaped face.
Oh man.
Probably. I don't know.
Yeah, shoot. We will we won't see you guys again
The next time you hear Zach's voice, it might be floating out of a disembodied camera. Probably. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going for here.
I don't
Batman
know
is
either.
next.
Batman.
That's what I'm saying.
God damn it. We're gonna get to Batman. And Jojo will be
Man.
Batman, would you pass the iced tea? And like Bruce Wayne is the only person at the table with iced tea. And he's like, he doesn't know what to say.
I recently rewatched a great Game Grumps animated bit where it's yeah, we got cookies, but we only got oatmeal raisin. Damn it!
Man, I miss classic Game Grumps. I miss lots of things.
Oh, this wasn't classic. This was Danny and Aaron.
Oh, but like what era of Danny and Aaron? Like, you know, within the first couple years of Dan joining? That to
I
me
don't
is
know.
like classic still.
I don't know, man. I haven't followed Game Grumps in years.
Yeah, so you
I
probably...
barely even followed them back when John was part of the group.
Man, we need to not have a Game Grumps cast right now, 3 hours into the Jojo cast, because I literally could talk about
We
Game
need
Grumps
to
with you for
fucking
hours. We need to fucking not.
Let's cut it. We need to just cut it right here.
We need to just cut it
right now.
there. Alright, when I drop my pen, bring in the music. Whatever.